Vampires.
Blood
Vampires.
The eternally
Blood
damned. The eternally
Sometimes they're this. They're this. Sometimes
They're
this. They're this.
Yeah.
And sometimes they like the D. So that leaves me with a very simple and direct question. Hey vampires.
Why are you gay?
He says I'm gay.
You are gay.
We're going to talk about this and much more on today's Salty Nerd Podcast. Welcome, everybody, to the Salty Nerd Podcast live stream on Tuesday. Thank you all for being here. Really do appreciate it. I am Alex, the Salty Nerd, and I'm joined, as always, by my fantastic panel of nerds. Jude is here.
Hello.
What's up? There's a funny story about Jude, real quick.
What?
She poured 2 glasses in front of her, and they're both completely clear, and she can't remember which one is alcohol, which one's water. We're going to find out
I
in a
gotta
minute.
taste them.
Kate is also here producing the show. Welcome, sir.
Look at me. You're gay now.
You're gay now. Yeah, make sure to answer the poll in the comments. We put a poll in there. If you get bit by a gay vampire, do you become gay? That is the question for the live stream
You're
today.
probably already a little bit gay.
and yes is leading with 61%.
61%. It's like, yeah.
Welcome here with us.
Yeah, guesting with us today is Charles. What we gave him a nickname when we were talking about the House of Dragons. He was the Charles the Valerian sea snake or something like that, with his glorious white sweater.
The House of the Sweater.
The House of the Sweater.
What up?
Thanks for joining us today, Charles.
Thanks for having me.
We just want to let everyone know that Matt Vader's having some medical issues. Nothing serious.
It's
but
none of anyone's business.
None of anyone's business. But unfortunately, he couldn't be here today and felt really bad about it. And luckily, Charles was able to kind of step in to fill his role.
So I want to see F for feet in the chat for Vader. I'm sure he's watching probably to check up on us. Make sure you send him some love. He's feeling a little under the weather, but he'll be back. He will be back. The first topic, the main topic for today is vampires and why are some of them like super gay?
Hit the B.
Hit the B. Hit the B. I got to mark it. Yeah, it's weird how vampire movies, like I'm a big fan of vampire movies. We watch them all the time. We talk about them, whether it's October or not. We don't really care. It's August Bites. August Bites is one of our favorite months. But then there's like these weird subset of movies and TV shows where vampires are just super gay. And it's just like, where does this come from? And I have some theories. I can't wait to get into it. I know, Jude, you are the resident super fan of vampires and all things, I don't know, creepy and blood-sucking. I love the outfit today.
Introduce my husband.
She drains me nightly. It's very difficult.
I will drain you to the point of death.
She says that to me every night.
Every night? Lucky man. God dang.
It's emotional.
She's an energy vampire.
I'm a Colin Robinson.
Succubus.
Yeah. It's the best.
I'm a huge fan. Just not of Twilight, really, but
yeah. Well, that's another thing too. I wanted to express this as well. Like, I know at this point in time, especially in culture, like the making fun of Twilight is just the lowest hanging fruit possible.
Right, yeah.
It's been done a billion times. I'm not trying to retread that same water. We're not going to pick on Twilight too much. It's just impossible.
Little bit.
It's impossible not to put a clip of a sparkly vampire when you're making fun of vampires.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They've planted their flag firmly in we're that goofy one. That's us.
Mm-hmm. On a mountain of dicks.
Yeah, and a mountain of dicks. Speaking of a mountain of dicks, why are vampires so gay? Jude.
Yeah.
You are a resident expert here.
On gay?
On gay. Why are you so gay? I'm gay vampire. But
I am the gayest at the table.
you've probably watched, let me rephrase it. You probably watched the most vampire movies out of everybody here.
And probably read the most vampire books.
The most vampire books.
Yeah.
So in your experience, what would you say the percentages of like super femme vampires versus scary monstrous vampires?
So let me start by saying that up until Anne Rice started writing her vampire novels, vampires were pretty much always very monstrous.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until she started writing the Interview with the Vampire series that vampires started to become more human and have like emotion and become sexual and sexy.
Yeah.
So once she came on the scene and started writing vampires in a completely different way, it really opened the door for other authors and show creators to create these sexy vampires that the ladies love.
And a big inspiration for today's topic is the Interview with a Vampire TV show on AMC, which went way gay.
It's real
way
gay.
gay.
Yeah.
Like super gay.
Super gay.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about it is, like, so the movie with Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise is canon in that show, but it was Louis as an unreliable narrator.
Yeah.
And so, like, the Christian Slater character comes back years later, like decades later, and starts re-interviewing him and getting the real story. And the real story is, like, Louis was black and super gay.
So is that a deviation from the books?
It's a huge deviation. It's a huge deviation because
He wasn't black in the books,
right?
But and I don't. It's ambiguous.
And it was later too.
Yeah, it's ambiguous as to what Louis' sexuality was, but Lestat was.
Okay. So I have a little bit of a theory, and before I get into it, I wanted to get Charles's thoughts on this. Are you a big consumer of vampire books, lore, and stuff like that? Yes. Okay, so
and to add to what Jude was saying about sexy vampires, there was always an undercurrent of seduction with Dracula. I don't know about any of the non-Dracula vampires; they were more like predators, but Dracula always had that seduction, particularly when it comes to the ladies, and even when it came to any of the males who visited his castle, there was always a little bit of an undertone, but it was more so with the ladies. But it was Anne Rice who kind of really cranked it up to like 100 when it came to the sexiness. Like when you saw an Interview with the Vampire had that, but I'd say I remember when it was just by the time you got to Queen of the Damned, the third book in the Vampire Chronicles, it was like straight up orgies like all the time. But I was a huge fan of, because I remember there was that vampire boom that happened in like the mid to late 2000s, where it was like you had Twilight became a thing, and then you had the Vampire Diaries, which was a book series that became a CW series and became very popular, and then you had True Blood, which was insane, and it was this huge phenomenon for a minute, and then it kind of burned itself out, and there was again tons of sexy vampires there. I don't know how they do it nowadays, because given kind of the whole compulsion or glamoring or whatever it is, it's kind of a little rapey. And I'm sure in this culture, people would get a little sensitive over it. But I've always been a huge fan of it. I love that type of supernatural lore when done well. It's just a matter of when it's done well. And it's not like, I have to admit, I was a little about Interview with a Vampire when I heard what they were doing and I heard the direction, the changes they were making. I'm like, why are you doing this? But I've seen a few episodes. It's actually pretty good. The guy who played Lestat is like it's actually really good. The Lestat that they had for the show.
He's perfect for Lestat.
Yeah, he actually is. So I'm a big vampire fan. Probably not as big as Jude, but I'm a big vampire fan.
We should also point out that we actually reviewed The Vampire Lovers, which is based off of the first lesbian vampire story ever written, which was actually I forgot
about that movie.
Yeah, it actually predates Dracula. I think it was.
Oh, okay.
So the original text.
My thoughts on this. I'm a casual vampire fan. I like some of the movies.
You can't dip your toe in vampirism.
I just
Dracula on a boat.
Dracula on a boat.
Lost Boys fan.
I don't know.
Oh, he hates children in movies.
But on the Corey Feldman note, we are going to bring up a movie in a few minutes that we'll talk about that. Jude and I both love, and I'm
went
curious.
Bananas for it.
We'll get to it in a minute. Let's not bury the lead here, but or give away the lead, whatever it is. But my thoughts on this. So I was trying to mulling this over, and I was watching a bunch of documentaries on like the history of vampirism and where Dracula came from. Obviously, there's Vlad the Impaler. That's kind of where it all got started. But there's always been this weird lore. But the sensuality and the sexuality, you started off with Dracula being able to seduce women. That's in Bram Stoker's The Book. It's all about like being able to seduce people and manipulate them and make them do what you want. And I feel like that's the little grain that kind of got this whole thing started.
Yes.
I feel like you're going to disagree with me.
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
I do.
What's up?
So in Bram Stoker's Dracula, the Dracula is at its core, he's a monster.
Right, yeah.
And in the movie, they made him more sexy and more seductive.
Gary Oldman one?
Gary Oldman, yeah.
Okay.
And I love Gary Oldman in that movie. But the movie takes a big leap from the book. In the book, he is a monster.
Yes,
and the
100%.
way that he seduces is by kind of getting in your head and brainwashing you. It's not the way that it happens in the movie at all. It's not, come to me, my love. It's none of that. And when Mina learns that she is infected by vampirism, she's fucking horrified and decides, she's like, I'm gonna help you kill him, even though I know it will kill me too.
But
like, he is a monster in Dracula.
The vampirism and the mythology and the culture of it, it stems a lot from Christianity as well. Which,
Catholicism.
The Catholic, Catholicism, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, there's this whole idea of like, if you allow yourself to lust after somebody or lust after somebody's blood and flesh, and it's this deviancy, it's this sin, basically. It's all about being sinful, and if you give into that, then you become this monster. Like, I feel like there's that thread throughout all this mythology that kind of leans itself into that.
Yeah, going to the Christian mythology thing. So like, there's that whole theory that Judas was the first vampire because he couldn't die. He was, kind of cursed to wander the earth, and that's why silver hurts vampires, is because the 50 pieces of silver. And so, like, I think it was actually in Dracula 2000 or something like that.
Yes, with Gerard Butler. Butler was Judas.
The very first vampire was Judas, and then he spawned all the other.
That's an interesting take. I really like that.
Yeah. The movie was kind of crappy, though.
I've heard bad things. I haven't seen it myself. I heard really
Jerry
negative
Ryan
things.
has a very abundant chest in that movie.
Who?
Yes, she does.
Seven of Nine?
Seven of
Nine is in the movie. She's one of the brides. She's one of the
starring
brides.
alongside Danny Masterson.
But I think
I love the brides. They're my favorite characters in all of the Dracula lore.
Yeah, I think that idea of seduction and lustfulness and and possessing somebody, those are the beginnings of this. And then as culture moves towards, you get this whole new culture of like, I don't know how else to say LGBT. I don't know the acronym, but anyway, I don't care if I botched it. It doesn't matter. The alphabet people were like, let's make our culture bigger and more prominent, and it kind of went into the culture more, and you start talking about these things more often, and then they start presenting themselves in pop culture and in movies and stuff like that. So I feel like that's where it started off as this thing, and then because of culture and how it moved, it kind of bled into it. And now we've got the newest TV show, Interview with the Vampire, where it's like super prominent.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's kind of how it got started, how it seeped its way into the movies and pop culture and stuff like that. And I love watching that kind of stuff. I love watching how things change over time and how the culture kind of shifts. But there was a TV show that we watched recently on the whole Catholicism thing and where it came from that really hammered down on that you and I both loved, was Midnight Mass.
Yeah.
Remember? So Midnight Mass took that whole Catholic mythology and all that, and then twisted it in this weird way where
it's all occult.
All of a sudden you're like, whoa, the blood of Jesus is something real dark, and like they're living forever and all this whole mythology, they just tweaked it just a little bit, and now all of a sudden it's vampire lore. And I'm like, that is some really creative and weirdly dark manipulation of like a whole culture and a whole history. I loved it.
Go ahead, Matt. Sorry.
Yeah, real quick. Just one of the interesting things about True Blood that they introduced was the fact that vampires get so bored because they live for so long that they're just like, oh, I'll try a dick. Why not?
That's right. Yes.
They're like, I've had plenty of pussy. I'm like,
try anything once.
Yeah. I mean, like, another 1,000 years, do I want to try a dick? I don't know.
What were you gonna say, Charles?
And another thing, it's funny you brought that up. One of the things also with True Blood was, let's say if you're a guy and you had to drink a vampire's blood in order to like heal or whatever, you start having dreams, and some of the dreams, like if it's a guy having a dream about a male vampire, they get a little gay.
In your system.
Okay.
But somebody actually brought up, I think one of the things that I've always loved about when done right now, because it seems like one of the things that's been actually really nice or fascinating about certain more modern vampires is they've moved beyond Dracula, because a lot of times they'd have Dracula and then just have offshoots of that. But like with Buffy, the Vampire Slayer, Angel, True Blood, all those other vampire stuff. I love to see when they are creating their own lore. Like, okay, how did vampires come to be? Like, what's the mythology behind that? Whether it's, and how are, a lot of times the eternal enemy of vampires, without losing the plot. We don't want to lose the plot about gay vampires, but like, how are they tied to werewolves? So I love seeing like how those vampire shows or vampire movies come up with their mythology and what's the innovative. Like, I have to admit, if Vampire Dracula 2000 had been a better movie, the whole Judas twist would have been awesome, but it was a crappy movie. So it just kind of was like, what? But because usually silver is usually not what harms a vampire. I mean, it's usually like silver harms a werewolf, but whatever. We're not going to get too into the weeds there. But the point is, I really like, somebody actually brought up in the chat, actually, that's another thing I wanted to bring up. Frank Langella, actually, his Dracula in 1979 was kind of a sexy Drake. So we kind of saw a little bit of that there. They didn't really, and I'll give example of another one where they kind of didn't lean that way, but it was an interesting relationship. The Dracula that they had in Blade 3, which was an awful movie.
Blade Trinity?
Yes, it was terrible.
How dare you?
Are you serious? That was terrible.
Jessica Biel.
I mean, she looked great. She looked great, but the movie sucked.
All right.
Patton Oswalt.
But they kind of leaned away from the sexy Drake thing.
Wait, Patton Oswalt was in that movie?
Yes.
Oh, that's right, he was.
Oh man.
And so was Ryan. So was Ryan Reynolds playing Ryan. Reynolds. Basically playing
shredded as heck though in that movie.
Oh yeah, he's shredded as heck.
Out.
And they all listen to their iPods while they're fighting monsters.
Who doesn't do that?
Yes. Listen to her tunes. Yes, her Whistler's daughter.
Yeah.
I would listen
They're
to
all
music
listening to podcasts
while slaying vampires. Just got Joe Rogan in your ear.
Yeah.
But I think, but going back to the gay vampires, I honestly feel that one, it's interesting that they're doing it now. I feel that they're being more prominent about it, more open about it now, because I feel that particularly with the vampire boom that happened like 10 plus years ago, vampires were so prominent in pop culture that they kind of burnt out a lot of what they did with just the regular sexy vampire. So it's kind of like, okay, let's kind of go in this direction. Yeah. What's next? They had to do something.
How far can we push it? You know?
Exactly. Or what can we do that's different that will really kind of getting the cultural zeitgeist again?
And we can't ignore, I mean, everybody has a different opinion on this, but we can't ignore the ideological shift that's happened in culture as well. Like, obviously, everything's leaning in that direction. You got your check boxes and this and that. Like, that's definitely had an effect on that as well.
But also in the chat, they're talking about how this is also an outgrowth of fan fiction, because fans of vampires are just weird, and so they're like, yes.
Well, not all. Not all of them are weird. Here's the thing.
Dude, you should wear
unique takes. We'll call it that.
Yeah.
Well, so what I think is really interesting about the Anne Rice characters, Charles, have you read those books?
I've read 4 of them.
Okay.
Because it started to suck after Tale of the Body Thief. I
agree. So what I think is really interesting about her characters is that going into it, Lestat as a man was bi or gay. And then once he becomes a vampire, sex is pretty much taken off the table. Vampires in Anne Rice's universe don't fuck.
What?
Because you don't fuck your sandwich, do you?
No, they did. So they didn't. They fucked. Remember? Yeah.
Yeah. What we do in the shadows, right?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Is that a reference to that?
They have sexy times.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know that.
It's more about the sensuality of being with someone, and vampires are so beautiful to humans that it makes humans easy to seduce. Yeah. But they're not fucking their sex.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about vampires having sex with each other. That's why I was confused for a second. I was like, wait, what?
Well, so they have their family and their life together. It's not explicit what their sex life looks like, but they're not out there fucking humans.
No. That's true.
Food. Yeah. And then there's actually a really interesting dynamic, because, spoiler if you haven't read the books 30 years ago, Lestat turns his mother, and his mother is a super interesting character in the series, because honestly, I think that, and also it's kind of ambiguous, but his mother reads like she was a lesbian, never wanted to marry, and just had to because that's what you did, and really hated her life as a human. And then once she is freed from the bonds of humanity, she becomes her own woman. She starts dressing like a man. And Anne Rice has said that if she were born in a different time, or if she were born in this universe, she probably should have been born a man because she wanted the freedoms that men have that women don't have. And she's such an interesting character. And her dynamic with her son, who they're not humans anymore. So is he really her son? He's now he's her maker now. So he's kind of her father.
Whoa.
And it's so fucking weird.
Her father's son.
Oh, there's always that factor with vampires. You're like,
the dynamics between the characters, like all of the vampire characters, is so fucking interesting. And that is what I think is interesting about the universe and the characters. It's not just gay.
I have to say that the chat took your comment about not effing your sandwich.
The sandwich is fuckable.
And they were like, whoa.
Like, I love my sandwiches.
Let's not take that off the table here, Jude, okay?
This is not Jim from American Pie.
Do we need another poll? What's the best sandwich to bag?
What's the most sensual sandwich?
What's the most sexual sandwich you could taste?
Sexual sandwich.
God,
that's the name of my next album. Sexual sandwich.
Do it.
What a great
I think even when it comes to like she's right though in terms of vampires are not fucking humans, they're just draining them dry. But I feel that because like how it goes, so just for anyone who hasn't read, I'm not going to spoil, but basically you have Interview with the Vampire, which is from Louise POV, and then you have The Vampire Lestat, which is book 2, and that's basically kind of like a prequel about Lestat and leading up from his origin up until modern times where he is. And then you have, I kind of call it like almost kind of like the Vampire Chronicles Endgame. You have Queen of the Damned, where it's kind of like all these vampires who you've met, all these vampires from all ages, kind of have to team up to stop the Queen of the Damned. Akasha, I think her name's Akasha. Akasha was literally the mother of vampires, because she's going around and just killing a lot of the impure, and she wants to make Lestat her heir. And so he becomes like super powerful. He like literally he gets, I think the best way to describe it, he gets King Ralphed in many ways in terms of his power level. And so he's now like almost as powerful. I wouldn't say almost as powerful as her, but he's way more powerful than people who are like hundreds of years older than him because of what she does to him. So, but yeah, like a lot of the sex they have is just with each other, but they don't really, it's the sensuality of it, but they don't, it's true. They're not fucking their food. That's
I feel like there's like
I love a pepperoni roll.
Hard salami one time, dude. You're like,
And if I had, I wouldn't want to eat it after.
Pressed beef, wow. Cannoli.
Oh, man.
Where did we go? We lost the plot.
Yeah. Of course, the chat derails the whole thing. They're like, yeah, but what if I did make my sandwich, right? So I was gonna say, I feel like there's a Venn diagram somewhere of like the two different audiences for vampires. Like there's cool dude vampire movies that are like geared towards 30 Days of Night, things like that.
Yeah.
The old school Dracula stuff is like there's a male demographic there that really likes that kind of stuff.
Well, I think that's more geared towards like the power of a vampire.
Right.
And the stuff that's more geared towards women is more about the beauty of a vampire.
Beauty and sensuality and sexual.
Being young and beautiful and powerful forever. How seductive is that?
Yeah, being able to take down armies single-handedly, that's like a male fantasy, right?
I'm not gonna fuck a sandwich as a human, but I'll do it
yeah.
Oh man. It's interesting to see the two different sides of like this culture of the vampire pop culture, psych, whatever you want to call it. And then see where they intersect, because there's this middle section where it's like it kind of meets both criteria. And there's a movie. And I'm going to bring it up because Jude and I, it's under the radar. Nobody knows about this movie, but I saw it one time just randomly, and I was like, what is this movie? This looks weird.
Yeah.
Because it's like an action vampire movie.
Yeah.
But then it also gets super weird.
It's so weird.
It's got Corey Feldman as a transvestite cross-dressing vampire. And I'm talking like Ursula from Little Mermaid.
And he's super gay.
Yes, and like very, very gay.
He's
got
like,
the makeup all the way up to here, like the full tilt.
Silence of the Lambs, and make it vampire.
Make it a transvestite vampire.
Fuck me.
Exactly. It was so out of left field. I was watching this movie and I'm like, and I will say, I'm not a big fan of Corey Feldman. I usually don't like his movies. Sorry. But this was one of his best performances ever.
Yeah.
Legitimately.
If not the
And
best.
what's the name of it? What's the name of it?
Corbin Nash.
Corbin Nash. And I have no idea where you could
never
find it.
heard of
We
that.
can Google it real quick.
Yeah.
I've heard of
Starring
Pluto Nash, but not Corbin
Jagger.
Nash.
Dean
Yeah.
Jagger, who we all know from Warrior.
Yeah, I
Um,
think it's on Tubi.
Is it on Tubi?
I think
Okay.
so.
It super flew under the radar, bro. I watched this movie and I was like, this is freaking amazing. It's got action-packed violence, gore all over the place. Corbin Nash plays like a vampire hunter type character.
Yeah.
And then he's hunting and he's trying to fight the big daddy, big mama of all vampires.
The master.
It's like it's Corey Feldman as this transvestite vampire who is just
Uh-huh.
like massacring downtown LA or something like that.
Well, he
Because
keeps.
of course he is.
He's
Yeah,
like.
of course it's LA.
He's getting like prostitutes and he fucks them to
Right.
death.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Tell me you love me.
It's so
Tell me
weird.
I'm beautiful."
Male prostitutes.
Both.
No, yeah, it's both.
Is it both?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's both.
Yeah.
But it was such an interesting crossroads for what this topic was. And that's kind of what inspired this topic was like Corey Feldman, man. What a freaking crazy movie that was.
Yeah.
But I'd love
Great movie.
because we haven't had a chance to talk about it yet.
Right.
So talk to me about this movie because I've been trying to sell it to you and then you finally went and watched it and you were like, dude, this is dope.
Yeah. So I had never heard of it before because it's totally under the radar. Like
Mhm.
it was kind of hard to find. And then Alex, of all people, was like, "Yeah, this one transvestite vampire movie," and I was like, "Come again?"
You have to do it, didn't you?
There's so much innuendo in this
Yeah.
live show.
This is definitely going to get demonetized, guys. So make sure you sign up and become a member. We're going to do a member stream only in about a couple of hours here. So join up. But yeah, this is definitely not going to stay monetized for long.
So I was like, I can't believe I've never heard of this movie before. So I looked it up. I found it. I want to say it's on Tubi or like
Something.
Roku channel,
Yeah.
Peacock maybe. I bet. And so I watched it and I was like live texting Alex while I was watching it and like screenshotting it and like sending him to. I was like, this movie's blowing my fucking mind.
Yeah.
It's such a good movie. And it has a good story and it set up, payoff,
Yep.
great characters, well written, great like acting.
Super low
How's the
budget.
lore?
Yeah.
How's the lore?
I can't remember. It's been so long
It
since
was
I've
pretty
seen it.
creepy,
Yeah.
I'd say. But yeah, they definitely had some world building in there.
Yeah.
Did it stick with the original like Dracula rules, no reflections, silver, this and that?
I can't remember. I can't remember.
I think it was just.
I just remember they had a lot of hot topless vampires in there.
Oh yeah.
That's important.
It is.
You know another thing, another actually good movie that came out recently. It came out I think it came out a few years ago. Was that Jamie Foxx movie?
Day
Shift.
Shift.
That
Shift
was
very
super
good.
fun. That
Yeah.
was
Great
super
movie.
fun.
We also reviewed that on the channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe
Didn't go full sexy.
As a cowboy.
I know. As a cowboy vampire hunter, exactly.
Those two, the two brother
The two
vampire Russian brothers.
Yeah.
Oh, they're
Yeah.
Armenian. The Circassian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much fun to be had with vampire movies because you could do
Oh,
anything.
yeah.
Well,
And it's funny because neither of them were Armenian, and they're playing Armenian brothers, which makes sense if you live in LA. That makes sense. It's actually kind of hilarious. And
The moment where I think whoever the new greenhorn character was that was joining up, it wasn't Jamie Foxx, it was another character, but they were standing on either side
Dave
of him.
Franco.
Dave Franco,
Oh
that's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
And they were like,
Oh, yes.
get their gum over his head, and then the other brother caught it and started munching on it, and I was like, this movie's freaking hilarious.
yes.
Yeah, they drive around like a Circuit City repair truck, and they're just like, "Hey, bro, you need some help?" Need some help?
Yeah. And the thing, and I like the whole thing about the villain. That made sense how it worked. She was kind of a sexy vampire, but you didn't see her like, it was just kind of like the lore that they had connected to her. Like I would have liked to have seen more about that, but I thought that the whole thing was it was fun. It was a fun movie. Jamie Foxx did his Jamie Foxx thing, and it was just like, it's great when you see stuff like that too. It doesn't have to be a series, it doesn't have to be a saga. It's just like, hey, it's a fun one and done, and it was cool. It's a nice addition.
Yeah.
So speaking of gay vampire movies, I actually got a list of gay vampire movies
Okay.
Sweet.
where I can read you guys the synopsis.
All right.
All right. Do
And-
we have to guess what movie it is?
No, like a lot of these you wouldn't have heard of.
Okay.
But I just want to share in the gayness of
So if
these.
hold on. I got to find out how you found these. Did you just Google gay vampire movies?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, it's a gay vampire. Or two spirits.
Yeah.
Two spirits.
Opens up his
Yeah.
chest, got candles everywhere, and he just
Yeah.
pulls out the gayest vampire movie ever.
He like pulled one book off of
and it opens up.
yeah, and it, yeah. It was like,
My
it's
hidden-
like
my
the
hidden
porno
library.
section in the
Yeah.
video stores.
beads. You have
It's
to have
all
the beads.
vampires. It's
Yeah.
all gay vampires.
Yeah, I walked through the beads. Found these synopses. All right, so the first one is The Brides of Sodom.
Oh boy.
Set in a post-apocalyptic world where vampires named for Greek gods, the witches rule. It is a classic vampire story with some real twists. The plot centers around a male vampire named Eros who falls in love with a human named Samuel. Eros wants to save Samuel and make him a vampire, but Eros' evil vampire lover, Dionysus, has other ideas. Matters are complicated when Eros' sister/lover, Persephone, an ambiguous bookkeeper, and 3 witches who know the secrets of the universe and the laws of eternity. It's a deep tale of decadence, erotica, and major stylized horror themes shot around surreal and post-apocalyptic sets on one hand and lavish dark gothic atmospheres on the other.
Skip. Anyway, so yeah, this was a fun topic. I've had a lot of fun.
I'm not done.
You're not. How many more do you have, man?
We'll give you 2 more.
Yeah, okay.
2 more.
Okay,
All right,
2
you're
more,
being
2 more.
generous. 2 more. Here we go.
Yeah. Rule of 3.
All right. Kissing Darkness.
Of course.
A group of college boys bored with the everyday gay life of LA decide to skip Pride weekend in exchange for a camping trip in the woods.
Oh no!
Quickly overcome with boredom in their new surroundings, the boys venture into a game of that ultimately unleashes the vengeful spirit of a local legend known as Malise Valeria. Overcome by her deadly plan of tainted love and her thirst to take back what was lost long ago, the gay boys now must band together before they fall victim to the poisons of a broken heart.
Oh my God, you guys. You know what? Pride just is not gay enough. You know what would be gayer? Camping. Let's go
Yes.
camping.
Flame and yawn fires.
Let's go camping. Let's go camping.
It's glamping.
No, it's camping.
Glamping. It's got to be glamping.
Yeah,
Vamping.
let's get out of LA and go camping somewhere.
Yeah.
The everyday gay life of LA. It's like, wow.
Yeah, the
okay.
everyday gay life.
Yeah, so they were
West-
bored
West-
in LA,
Wayhoing
and
it
then the
up.
synopsis is they got bored while camping as well.
They were bored of the gay life in LA,
Oh Jesus!
and then they went camping to try to.
It's not gay enough.
Yeah, yeah.
Wayho
The
is not.
boring.
West Hollywood's is not enough for them, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
They
right,
should go to
I'll
they
give
should
you-
go to Provincetown.
I'll give you one more gay vampire
It's
movie.
just one. I can't handle
Just
much more.
gay me one more time.
Yeah, okay. Prepare to be gayed. Okay, this movie is called The Lair. The Lair is a private gay club run by vampires who
Of
use the
course.
club as a source for attractive young men to feed from. Tom, a local journalist in a small island town, begins digging into the anonymous bodies, turning up drained of blood, endangering his boyfriend, and coming to the attention of the head vampire,
I feel like
Damien,
I've seen this.
who sees Tom as the reincarnation of his own dead gay
I
lover.
feel like I've seen this.
Oh boy!
Guys, I got like 20 of these.
No,
You know what?
you're done.
I think we're
You're
good.
done.
I think we're good. I think we're good.
Maybe
We're solid.
we'll
It's
cover
too
more
sexy.
in the member stream.
I mean, that's how much gay vampires are out there
It's
in terms of like
big, man.
film.
People
It's
want the
big.
gay.
Yeah, it's. I do agree. I think it's mostly just fan fiction that they were managed to get a budget for, and they were like, "Yeah, this is my
Yeah,
story now."
Sure.
This is
Yeah,
gay
why
vampire.
not? Why not?
Pitch me your story. It's gay vampires. How much
So-
money would you like?
Who's
here's
in
a,
it?
here's $1 million.
And can you imagine the pitch for Corbin Nash though? It's like, hey, listen, we've got a super transvestite vampire
Uh-huh.
played by Corey Feldman.
Uh-huh.
Freaking, how would
Yeah.
you not? Yeah, here's $1 million.
Yeah.
Go make
And
that.
I'm sure when they said Corbin Nash, they're probably just like, wait, is this a sequel to Pluto Nash? And like, no, nothing about that.
Oh, Pluto Nash. Yeesh.
Yeah.
Was
But-
it-
But it's kind of funny because like you know all these movies, like the movies I researched, that 3 of which I read to you guys,
Mhm.
you could always tell how gay the movie was because the covers were just
Mhm.
like shirtless, muscular
Yeah.
men like
Yeah.
all over
Naked
each other.
man chest. Naked
Yeah,
man
yeah,
chest.
yeah.
Like,
Oh,
Naked
like
Man
the
chest.
like the Fabio covers of books.
oh yeah.
no, more like the sci-fi porn book covers.
No, it looked like a David Dakota movie each time. So
We should have clipped out that part. Why are you gay? Just so we can play it every once in a while. You know what?
I am not gay. What
You know
makes
what
you
might
think
be a
I'm
little
gay?
gay is the Rocks tequila. So so quick
Is
story.
that any
before-
good? Is that any good?
No,
No.
no. But this is the
really?
funny story
Oh,
behind
okay.
it. Before we get into the interaction with the chat and stuff like that, I just wanted to say I told Jude this morning. Jude was like, "Hey, what are you going to drink for this live stream today?" I'm like, I don't really feel like drinking.
Because our game is always a drinking game, so we
Yeah.
usually just have a drink at least while we're doing the
And I'm
game.
like, I'm probably not going to drink today. She's like, well, what about the game? And I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, you know what? Let me try the Rocks tequila because I'm definitely not. That's basically not alcohol anyway.
Yeah.
So
I was like, you're not gonna get drunk off
we
that.
polished like half this bottle off.
Yeah.
One live.
Not
game,
even a buzz.
And we were both like, did we drink anything today?
Yeah.
It was such a non-starter.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm sipping on today.
If you're doing dry January, the Rocks, tequila is
that's the
safe.
way to go.
Yeah.
Good to know. Okay.
So do you guys want to know the answer to our poll?
Yes.
If you were
Yes.
bit
Oh,
by a
that's
gay
a
vampire, do you
It's a
become gay?
fantastic way to end this part. Yeah, go ahead.
So 35% of the chat believes that you don't become gay if you get bit by a gay vampire, but an overwhelming 65%
Yeah.
are like, you're gay.
Yeah.
If you get bit by a gay vampire, definitely gay for sure.
And actually, the thing is, if we're going by Buffy rules, becoming a vampire actually brings out your true self.
Oh.
So kind of like when the whole thing with Willow, and it's funny because they hinted at this
Yeah.
when there's that alternate universe episode where we saw Willow vampire Willow again, and she was very touchy-feely with our Willow. And Angel almost gave it up, and he's just like, I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it alone.
Yeah. Willow's like, oh, I'm so evil and skanky, and I think I'm kind of gay. And Buffy's like, don't worry about it. The vampire version of you has nothing to do with it. And Angel's like, actually,
And he's like, never mind.
That
Correct.
is correct. Yep.
And I'm smelling that Rocks vodka from here. Oof,
Yeah.
It's tequila.
whatever.
Sort of.
Terramana.
Is it tequila?
Is it
What's
gonna
it?
turn
What
you gay
version
now?
is it?
I don't know. I wish I was muscular if I drank it like the Rock. I have to take more steroids. though.
What a
Got you on that one, didn't I, Carl?
what version? What kind of like? I know there's like 3 different.
It's
types.
silver, small batch tequila. It says gluten free on it. Jesus Christ, it's tequila.
Is it
people.
like the Anillo or which one is it?
Blanco?
Anillo? Blanco.
Blanco.
Okay. There's Blanco and Neo, and then there's a darker one.
I like my tequila full of gluten.
Yeah.
Can I order some extra gluten in my tequila,
What?
please?
Why are ignorant people always Southern accents, guys? Come on, that's so mean.
That's our next topic, next
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Why are Southern people ignorant? That's terrible. All right, so we got a couple of super chats we're going to get into, and then we'll address some of your chats because I saw some legitimately great comments in there. We got William Forbes in the house for $5 today.
Yes.
Yo, SMP, gay vampires, haha! Y'all are fantastic. Just jumped in about 30 minutes in, and just wow. What about Blackula?
I've seen Blackula.
You have?
Yeah.
I didn't know this was the thing. So
Yeah.
educate me.
Doesn't Blackula have some gay stuff in it?
I don't remember that, but it's like 70s blaxploitation films, and they did a Black Dracula, his Blackula.
Yeah, Blackula.
But it's like
Eddie Murphy,
70s,
right?
so it's like Shaft.
Oh, it's 70s
Yeah,
Blackula?
yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah.
it's blaxploitation.
So
Basically.
it's like Dolomite, but with vampires?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm in.
Yeah. Blackula's amazing.
How have we not watched this? Okay.
Also, Vampire in Brooklyn. Eddie Murphy has a
Not
vampire.
my
That was
thing.
Eddie Murphy one. Okay.
Eddie Murphy was a vampire?
Yeah.
I have never heard of this.
Yeah. You should see his
Yeah.
Dracula accent.
Oh,
He's got
no way.
he's got a Jerry Cole mullet too.
Oh, this is phenomenal.
No, he went full Soul Glow for that.
Guys, how have I not heard of this before? This is
I heard of
amazing.
I've never seen it, but I've heard about it.
We've got a members chat from Jeff Smith. He's been a member for 5 months. Thank you very much. Make sure to
Hi.
catch us for the last hour of our live stream here. We're going to be members only. Ann Rice has a lot to answer for. Gay. I grew up with Gammer's List for a vampire. What is that? Do you know what that is, Jude? Any
I
idea?
don't.
Okay.
I don't.
Twins of Evil. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
Oh man, we got some new movies. Countless Dracula, etc. Boobies and big boobies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Obviously.
So we have 3 new movies that we need to
Thank
check out.
you. That's what we'll be discussing next
Yeah,
week,
yeah.
along with why are Southern people ignorant.
This big boobited big boobited vampires.
They are vampires. They're the sexiest vampires.
Six
funny
vampires.
enough, True Blood is set in the South, and so everyone had those Southern
Yeah.
accents.
Oh man, and we got another. I think a member for 3 months. I don't think there was no chat.
Goran?
Goran, I'm hoping you're Norwegian, bro. If you're from Norway, I want to come visit.
That could be
I don't
a
know, Jared,
that
just
could be,
says,
that could be an Estonian name or a Baltic name.
I'm Norway.
Well, thank you for being a member.
Yeah, thanks for being a member for 3
Yeah.
months. I love it. Let's see. There's been a couple of chats here. So Dennis Wright said a couple things. God, the chat's so active. I love it. I can't actually find them. I should have starred them. Anyway, you guys have been great. Wendy, please be done. That's the one. Okay, Wendy, but please be done to your synopsis.
Wow.
So done.
Inserting themselves right away.
There's anything wrong with that?
Lesbian vampire killer says Farnsworth. What's up, Farnsworth? How you doing, buddy? Yeah, man. I love this chat. So everybody, a quick reminder, we are having a live stream later on for members only, but Matt Vader isn't here. Please send your love in the comments for Matt. He's feeling a little under the weather. That's why Charles came in clutch and was like, yeah, I got you guys. We're going to be talking about some fun stuff.
Always got you guys.
Are you excited for, Charles, are you excited for House of Dragons season 2? You looking forward to that?
When is it coming out again? When is it starting? Is it June?
It's August.
Is it August? Yeah, I think it's in the summer. So we got to get you back.
That trailer was great.
We got another super chat from William Forbes. What's up, William? Hey, man, having a Southern accent doesn't make you dumb. Being from Texas, just because I talk slow, don't make me stupid. It's a common mistake. I totally agree. It's
people underestimate
are you gay? Wait, are you gay?
Why are you?
I totally get it, man. It's a stereotype, and I don't know where you think it comes from. I think it comes from Hollywood.
Of course,
it does. Oh yeah, Hollywood, Beverly Hills, Hillbillies. Yeah, I think. And honestly, sometimes a lot of people from the South, like, and it depends on what region you're in, but there's some people who like talk, and I think even from parts of Texas, it's so damn big. Like they talk real fast. They actually have to talk slow so people understand them because they talk like. I remember when I used to live in Atlanta, and our teacher, when she was mad at the class, she said, "I am furious with y'all." You know, the way she say it, and it's just they talk really quick when they say it. So it's like it depends on where in the South.
No, it's like that guy from King of the Hill.
Yeah, it's this LA thing where all these LA, California people think you're dumb if you talk slow and with a Southern accent, and that's bled into culture and TV shows and movies, and they're just like, yeah, it's dumb Southern people. So I listened to a Joe Rogan podcast with I can't remember his name. He owns a huge farm. It's like a regenerative farm that he doesn't use any chemicals or anything like that. He just actually uses the land the way it's supposed to be used. And he talks very slow, has a very thick accent, but he's one of the smartest freaking dudes I've ever heard talk about like agriculture and farming and all that stuff. I'm like, yeah, it's a unfortunate stereotype.
Sure.
But it's low hanging fruit.
When I was a kid, I used to spend every other summer with I have family in Georgia.
Right.
And we would spend every other summer with our family in Georgia, Ellijay, Georgia, if you've heard of it. And my cousin Katie and we would just make fun of how each other talks, and she'd be like, "Oh, you're such a Yankee."
Growing up in New England, the stereotype of like Boston, Massachusetts people, everybody's a prick. If you have a Boston accent,
no, I haven't lived in Boston. It's true.
Well, that's where the stereotype.
There's some truth. There's some truth.
Boston, you're like, why is everybody so rude? I'm like, because it's cold.
Yeah.
It's cold.
It is cold. Yeah. And you know what? Not everyone has that accent.
Nothing like that.
And not everyone speaks like that.
Yeah, I do love me a good Southern gentleman accent, though.
Oh yeah.
Like, you ever see that Saturday Night Live sketch with
Colonel Lingus?
Yeah, Colonel Lingus. Yeah, and it was Christopher Walken playing the Colonel.
For some reason, Django Unchained just popped into my head when they go down south and they're like,
"You had my attention."
And Big Daddy, it's like, "You want me to treat?" I can't even say the line.
No, I know what you're talking about. That scene was hilarious.
That scene is so funny.
He's like, "You want to treat it like this?" No.
Who's that Peckerwood who over there? What's his name? Jimmy something. Treat him like you would Jimmy.
Yeah, Don Johnson was great in that one.
Yeah. God, it was such a funny. And the thing with the hoods and I can't see shit out of this thing. God, that movie. Oh, it's so unfortunately quotable.
Yes, it is actually.
Another $2 super chat from William Forbes. Man, William, you're just like tossing those
He's got
dollars
shit
out.
to say.
Yeah, man.
He wants to be heard.
It is fun.
He's making it rain.
It is fun to lean into stereotypes. I do declare, and it's also one of the easier accents. If you're not from there, I feel like it's one of the easier accents to fake. It's difficult sometimes to fake a Boston accent because then sometimes you mix into New York. It's either New York or it's Boston. It's
gotta have a hot eye.
Yeah. It's weird. I think Southern accent is a safe bet for most people. You're like, oh, I can fake a Southern accent. Midwest is also fun. You and I love doing the Midwest accent. Oh,
What's
hey,
what's a Midwest
And the
one?
Mid-Atlantic.
a Midwest. It's kind of Canadian. You say, don't you know, a lot?
It's like Wisconsin.
Like
Oh,
Wisconsin.
so it's the people in the North Midwest, because that's
Yeah.
the thing. You don't have that accent in the Midwest, like in St. Louis or like Illinois. You don't hear that.
Well, Illinois is a different
Midwest and
accent.
Chicago are very similar.
Yeah, the Southern Midwest accent is like the
They
French.
don't
So many
They
different
say
dialects.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
They say Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Monday.
All right. Thank you, everybody. And William Forbes, shout out to him for the super chats. Appreciate it. We're going to move on to our next subject, which is, I forgot.
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter. Oh, this is
Oh,
Jude. The
Yeah.
floor is yours.
okay.
Educate
Talk
me.
to us,
I
Jude.
know
Talk to us, Jude.
little to nothing about Harry Potter. I've watched part of the first movie
Mhm.
and
Oh, I can talk to you.
never
You
looked
never
back.
even finished it?
So I can talk to I can talk to you too if you
Yeah.
ask.
All right.
Yeah, go ahead.
I knew Charles would be my
Yes.
What's happening in the world of Harry Potter fan fiction right now?
Okay, so you all are aware that I am a huge Wizarding World fan.
Right. Your wedding was based off of
Wedding.
it.
I
You've
still have
gone,
a wand.
yeah, you've gone to the
Universal,
Or- is it Universal?
Harry Potter
Thank you.
World. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've gone to the Hollywood one. I've gone to the Orlando one. Best days of my life.
I love it. I love it.
I love a universe that I can fully embrace. That's fantastical, and I love the magical universe. So I'm actually late to the game in the fan fiction because I've never really read fan fiction before.
Mhm.
I stick to the classics, and that's really just been it for me. But everybody keeps fucking talking about the Hermione fan fiction, and it's Draco Malfoy and Hermione Granger.
Yeah.
So
Like,
Draco is the evil blonde.
oh, okay, the Slytherin kid,
Yeah,
Okay.
Hermione
Played by
is
Tom Felton.
the redhead, Hermione.
No. She's not redhead. That's Ginny. I'm thinking of Ginny Weasley. Hermione is the one. She had bushy hair. She was part of the core three in terms
Yeah.
of Harry Potter lore. So it was
Emma-
Harry,
Yeah, okay.
Ron Weasley, and then Hermione Granger.
Hermione's the chick,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then the Slytherin kid with the blonde hair.
Yeah.
He's like
That's
the
Draco
bull.
Malfoy.
Yeah.
Yes.
So everybody's been talking about Hermione. They're shipping them, Hermione.
Oh, it's a shipping thing.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So they started writing this fan fiction, and it's a universe set in the Harry Potter universe, and it's like I want to say it's 6 years into the Wizarding War. Harry Potter's dead, and here's what
wow.
happened in this universe.
Mhm.
Charles, have you read any of this?
None of the fanfic. I
Okay.
draw the line at the books.
Okay. So there's
Which I
this
love,
whole-
by the way. Which I love.
so there's this whole other story set in the same universe, but they're all in their 20s now. Where this Wizarding War, Harry did not win. He did not defeat Voldemort. Voldemort is still alive. Harry's dead, and here's what has happened. This war has spanned years.
Oh, this is like a
It's like an alternate
okay.
timeline.
So it's not feeding off of where the movie's left off of. It's taking a
No.
deviation.
It in fact starts after like around Order of the Phoenix.
Oh, Order of the Phoenix. Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
which is
Oh, wow.
the
That's fifth
fifth?
book. Fifth and
Yeah.
longest book.
Yeah,
okay.
hardest read.
Exactly. I agree.
The series, yeah.
Hardest because it's sad, or just because it doesn't make any. There's still a lot happening.
It's a lot of emotional, like he's just angry throughout the whole book, and it's a little bit of a hard read.
Okay.
It's there's a lot of PTSD and trauma coming out when it comes to
Yeah.
that book, because he's
Yeah.
been through so much and so much has happened and things weren't told to him until late, and then he saw somebody die, a student happen in book 4, and
He's
just
dealing
all of
with
this is coming out.
trauma.
Yeah.
So it starts off like it doesn't start off there, but this story, like as far as like when the timeline has shifted, starts basically there. The way that Dumbledore, spoiler if you haven't read the books or seen the movies, the way that Dumbledore dies is completely different, and people that are dead in the books are still alive in here, but then they die later during the war, and like it's
so it's in their own sandbox then, basically.
yeah.
Okay.
So it's like an alternate timeline, like 6 years later after the end of the Harry Potter books.
Mm-hmm.
And It's sort of like the person who wrote this got inspired by watching Handmaid's Tale, I believe is what they have said. And the beginning of this book is very Handmaid's Tale. It is a fucking hard read.
Whoa.
I told Matt, I was like, I don't know if I can read this. It is so rapey. And like Nadia, y'all know Nadia.
Yeah.
Nadia was like, hey, there's a manuscript for it. Somebody turned it into like an audiobook manuscript. She was like, if you go here and download it, you can save it to your Kindle and just read it like a book instead of like looking up all of the different posts or whatever.
Quick shout out to our member, Wendy Hunter. She says, I'm a big Harry Potter fan.
Oh,
so.
Great. Yeah, she was talking to me about Buffy earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So I texted her because she started reading it before I did. And I was very excited to start reading this. And it's very well written. And the universe set, like you can immediately like be in this universe and trust it. And it is just like being in the original Harry Potter universe.
Well, that's high praise.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's very well written. But it is set in a dark, dark time.
Final Destination timeline.
It doesn't glorify the content, but it doesn't pull punches from it either. Like Matt was asking me, like, "Oh, I'm sure it's very 50 Shades," and I was like, "No. 50 Shades is sexy. This isn't sexy. This is someone sold into slavery for this purpose, and then they tell you what happened during that thing, and it is rough to fucking read." And so I texted Nadia and I was like, tell me something shifts, because I don't know how much non-consensual stuff I can sit with, because I'm about 500 pages in and I looked and this book is over 3,000 pages long.
Whoa, how long is this thing? 3,000 pages.
How is that sustainable how can you, like, you're an author, you're writing a 3,000 page book?
This is a collection of large, shorter fan fiction stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What were we gonna say, Charles? Okay.
Were you asking me?
I'll text you later, Charles. I'll text you later how to get it. But Nadia was like, absolutely, something shifts and it will make sense. And just keep reading, power through. And so I spent the entire day yesterday just powering through, reading. I took a bath. I was reading it the whole time I was in the bathtub. I was mothering my child and I was like on my Kindle. I was like, don't read any of this. And finally I got to a point where I was like, I texted Nadia and I was like, oh, thank Christ, in all caps. And I was like, I finally got to a place where I'm not like cringing every other sentence. And she was like, yeah, you finally got there, girl. You finally got there.
Jeez. Are we talking like Game of Thrones level, like despair, like just
like Red Wedding post Red Wedding?
Kind of, yeah. Wow. Yeah, there's a lot of murder and there's a lot of just like Handmaid's Tale, they collect all of these women and so in the Harry Potter universe, there's like the pure blood faction. Yes. Like if you're not a pure blood wizard, if you're a half blood, like one of your parents is a muggle, like a human, non-magical person, or if you're born from two muggles, you're dirty blood.
What's a muggle?
A muggle is a non-magical person. Like
normal
us.
Human, normie.
Like a slang for like a
slang for normie.
In America, they call them no-mages. In Britain, they call them muggles. So you don't have magic. So if you're born from a non-magical family, you're not a pure blood. And during the war in this timeline, they round up all of the non-pure blood ladies and they sell them into sexual slavery just for like a repopulation program because a lot of wizards died.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Jude was telling me that the first part of this book that she's been reading for the Hermione stuff, was basically Draco raping Hermione.
Yeah,
is that pretty much how it went?
What? Okay.
Yeah, and I was like, how is this sexy? Is this whole book gonna be this? Because I'm just weirdly
so it's like a 365 days situation, but like worse.
I don't know what that is.
That's a
Netflix.
Okay.
I have a question about fan fiction because it has a negative connotation to it a lot of times, like, oh, it's fan fiction, like it's just nonsensical and it's just people writing stuff and they're not necessarily the most talented writers. They're just throwing stories out
there. I understand why people have gone bananas over this fan fiction because it is so well written and it pays so much attention to this universe and the details in like making potions and casting spells and the way that the wands work, it's all legit from the original lore. And like I'm reading this and I'm just like in this universe. But the first part of the story is not fun.
Yeah, but to answer your question, Alex, so 50 Shades of Grey started off as Twilight fan fiction.
Right.
It was called Masters of the Universe. And it was E.L. James was basically just like a Twilight super fan. She was writing her own version, and then she switched it from like vampire to billionaire and, you know, BDSM and all that stuff. And the same thing.
That's when it got picked up. That's when it got picked up. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the same thing happened with Cassandra Clare's stuff, because she started off as Harry Potter fan fiction and then transitioned that stuff into City of Bones and stuff like that. And basically, basically the City of Bones. I think it was called the Mortal Instruments series.
Yeah.
It started off as Harry Potter fan fiction, but it was Draco Malfoy and Ginny Weasley. Yeah. So
I didn't know that.
If you guys have ever seen the City of Bones movie, her best friend who looks just like Harry Potter, that was Harry Potter. In the original fanfic. So like there is this history of fan fiction morphing into something like on its own. You know,
when fan fiction makes you bang your brother.
Yeah, which is City of Bones thing, because originally Cassandra Clare had the two main characters be brother and sister. And then when the fans are like, that's creepy because we want them to bang. And so she's like, oh, well, they just tricked them into thinking they were brother and sister. They're really not related.
It's all right now.
Yeah.
They can touch it.
Do you think it takes away from the original product and J.K. Rowling's actual story by bringing these fan fictions into prominence and being like, look at this other story that is
don't with this, because it is taking such care to be in this universe that it's actually like so nice. Another story in this universe. What makes me nervous is that they're rebooting what I've already read and seen in movies and in books. They're rebooting that now.
It's a TV
and
show.
That makes me nervous.
Well,
I don't want it redone.
Yeah.
I want more from the same universe.
According to the sources, J.K. Rowling has got a hand in the whole TV show thing, and it's not necessarily a reboot, but they're actually going to follow the books more closely than the movies, is what I understand.
Yeah. Each season is going to be one book.
And that's great. I actually like that idea because be honest with you, while the movies were good, I had problems because there were certain things that they rushed or took out that didn't make sense if you weren't a book reader. Like,
and they gave Hermione everything cool that Ron did, and Ron just comes out at the end of the movies looking like a buffoon who went along for the ride.
Exactly. And like even just with book three was the very first Harry Potter book I read. Like it was accidental. I meant to read one, but I accidentally got two. But 3 was so good. Like I remember, I'm not really the fastest reader, but I remember reading 3. I read it in 4 days. And I remember like 75% through the book, I had to put it down. And I was just like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Because and mind you, this was before the movies came out. Like I just kept hearing about it through word of mouth through like kids at college kept talking about Harry Potter. I was like, what the fuck is this stupid kid wizard? And so I finally decided to read it just to hear what it's about. And I can tell you, it was one of the biggest inspirations for me when it came to writing, because, I wanted to write and it was like, yeah, whatever, I wanted to write and I wanted to kind of create these worlds, but reading the care, the depth that she put into this, the lure, I was just like, if I could write a 10th as good. And just the way she also did such perfect foreshadowing, like just planting these seeds everywhere. And then they all came to fruition. And I was just like, this is fucking brilliant.
Yeah. Speaking of so there's this woman that I started following on Instagram who is reading the books for the first time. And I came upon her after she had just finished reading, or she was like almost to the end of Prisoner of Azkaban. And she was like, she was holding the book and she was screaming, and I was like, oh shit, this is hilarious. And I started following her, and like her reactions as she's reading these books are so funny. It's so fun to see someone reading them for the first time and reacting.
Yeah. And especially like the thing that was also great about the books too is that they were like at times laugh out loud funny. Like she had this great dry humor about certain things, the way she worded certain things, and I was just like, huh! It was like actually like laughing out loud, and just they just got better as she wrote them. And just they're the only books that I've just been able to just like I can read. I think I read the first book in like a day. I read the second book in a day. And I read even the last book. It took me 3.25 days to read it.
Wow.
Charles, I have to disagree with you and Jude on something, which is Goblet of Fire. Book 4 was the best book. It was the Empire Strikes Back of the series.
Well, for me, it was the first book I read.
But for me, Goblet of Fire was where I became a Harry Potter fan because the 3 books up to that point I felt were like a little bit too childish and not really like, like super engrossing.
I love Prisoner has a special place in my heart because that's when it starts to shift out of for children.
But the cool thing about the HBO series is so they're redoing the whole Harry Potter saga, but they have plans to do like spin-offs based off of like things that like we haven't seen but is implied in the books. So for instance, like drama at the school in France or Russia.
Yeah.
Bulgaria. Yeah.
Oh, Sturmdrang. Yeah, Sturmdrang.
Yeah, Sturmdrang. But also like like the Aurors.
Or
whatever you call them.
Yeah.
They're kind of like Scotland Yard. They're like Scotland Yard, but like
they're the wizard catchers, the bad wizard catchers.
Yeah, so they have all these plans, like for instance, like Mad Eye Moody, like what happened to get him like captured and taken over by David Tennant. But there's so much potential for like an expanded Harry Potter universe that's coming out. I think it's interesting that because Harry Potter fan fiction is nothing new, but this Dramini stuff has just taken that little world by storm.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I haven't read any other fan fiction for anything, but this has been talked about for so much that it made me curious about it. And I didn't think that I would be into it. And honestly, like as I was reading this stuff that's really hard to read, I couldn't put it down. Like it's such a good read, even though it's a hard read. It was really hard to not want to invest in this universe.
Okay.
Well,
you know what else?
You actually read the Handmaid's Tale books, right?
Well, it's just one book.
Yeah. So
there's two now.
Yeah, but the second book is bullshit.
but how does it compare to the actual Handmaid's Tale books?
I really enjoyed the Handmaid's Tale book, and it wasn't as hard for me to read it because I think I knew what I was in for with that. When I started this, I just thought I was getting like a Wizarding World story. And then as I got more into it, I was like, whoa. I didn't realize how much rape was going to be in this. And I had to like phone a friend and be like, does it get better?
Well, you know another reason why I think
it's a really good read.
I think the reason why the Dramini, whatever it's called, I think it's also because it's been revealed that I guess Tom Felton and Emma Watson are really good friends. And
they're best friends.
Yeah, and one of them had a crush on each other, and you saw their interaction during the. So I think that kind of brought it more into the forefront.
And everybody loves Tom Felton.
He's
so fucking popular on social media, and like everything that he does, all of the fans are like, "We love you, Tom," because he's just such a likable guy.
I have a question: does J.K. Rowling or who owns the movies? Universal Studios?
No, it's Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers.
I thought so. Yeah, okay. So do they? So there's two different types of studios out there, and Lucasfilm used to be one where they would support fan fiction and fan made projects and this and that. Yeah, I miss those days. Those days were great because you'd get some really cool, interesting content out of just people who are fans who just want to make their own little thing, and it doesn't mean anything. It's just if you want to make it, make it. Star Wars Theory made his Darth Vader movie. It was cool.
And it elevates them too because people are just like, oh, this is this. So,
but now this new, I feel like this new direction, especially at Lucasfilm and Disney and stuff like that, is like no fan fiction. Like you are not alled to do it. You will get
because
sued.
It'll be better than what they did. That's why.
The worst thing that Paramount ever did was crack down on fan made
Oh, the Star Trek project.
Star Trek, yeah.
Like it started.
Keep everyone around you stupid.
It started in the early 90s
smart.
where they cracked down on like written fan fiction,
right?
And then when people started making fan films, they cracked down on that.
Yeah.
And it like the thing that kept Star Trek alive in between like the Next Generation, the original series, was the fans creating their own stories and stuff like that to keep it going.
Yeah, same with Star Wars. Like there was a long dry period with Star Wars where like there was just nothing coming out, and people were just like, let's make some fan movies and stuff like that. It's fun. It's a lot. It's cool stuff. So
that actually happened during the night because it was a mixture of that, and it was also It was the Timothy Zahn trilogy.
Yeah.
It was the new Jedi trilogy that happened
Yeah.
in movie 1. That saved. I actually feel that saved Star Wars.
Listen,
many ways.
everybody, the Timothy Zahn trilogy is the sequels.
Yes.
That is the
Yes.
sequel.
Yes. That is the sequel trilogy.
I
we
don't
deserve.
care. I don't care what any bozo at Lucasfilm says. The original Timothy Zahn trilogy is the sequels.
But I think fan fiction is a lot like when you were a kid and you were like, we're going to play Star Trek today.
Yeah.
And you go out in the backyard and you play Star Trek. But when you're an adult, you don't go in the backyard and play Star Trek. You fucking write your own story.
My
question is, does WB and J.K. Rowling, do they support this kind of culture, or
no idea.
do they ignore it?
I don't know. Everybody's really mad at you.
Well, I'll tell you. Yeah, I was just about to say. Like, she's keeping a kind of a low profile. She's keeping kind of a low profile, from what I understand, just because of everything happening. So, I mean, she's still out there, but it's just like kind of like step back a bit, kind of do stuff behind the scenes.
That's a real shame.
The fact that they're allowing it to just exist shows that they, they're kind of supporting it. It's probably a soft support by just ignoring it, and saying like, let the fans do what they want.
I'll tell you, it's 1,000 times better than the Fantastic Beasts movies.
You know what? I'll tell you this. I like the first.
Hold on, Charles. How does it compare to The Cursed Child?
I really liked The Cursed Child, and I think a lot of people give Cursed Child a hard time. I don't know if it holds up to like the original series, if it's as well written as that, because I think it was probably a little bit rushed. And but it's Cursed Child is Harry's kid and Draco's kid. They're best friends, and now they're at Hogwarts and they have their own adventure. And they find a time turner, which is it's a time machine basically.
Right, yeah.
And they keep fucking up the timelines, and they keep trying to go back and fix it, and they keep fucking it up more. And
that sounds fun.
I think it's a great story. I would love to see that made into something else.
Is that fan fiction?
No. So it was weird because it started off as kind of like a play script, and it actually became a play. It was a play that was done, and a time turner was actually introduced in The Prisoner of Azkaban.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think it involves somebody trying to bring back Voldemort or something like that. Harry's an Auror at this point, kind of a belabored Auror. I haven't read it yet. I think you've clearly read it. But going back to the Fantastic Beasts, I feel if they just made that one movie, it would have been fun. Because I actually really liked the first movie, but it's just like after that, it kind of just got stupid.
The story gets worse each movie. The first movie is actually pretty solid.
It was fun,
And then each movie, it just gets worse and worse and more ridiculous. And by the time you get to the end of, I think there's 3 now. Yeah, there's 3. By the time you get to the end of the 3rd movie, you're like, that didn't make any kind of fucking sense. It's fun to be back in the wizarding universe. It's fun to be back in this world where there's magic. But the story made absolutely no sense, and it was garbage.
And it was also marred by controversy because of what they did with Grindelwald.
Yeah, they switched out Grindelwald. They switched out help me. They switched out Johnny Depp.
Yes. With Mads Mikkelsen.
Due to that bullcrap controversy with him as well.
Yeah, and then they took Tina out, and Tina was a main character. She's integral to the story, and they just took her out because she posted a bunch of shit about J.K. Rowling.
Well, yeah, she came out against J.K. Rowling's stance on trans issues.
And J.K. was like, get rid of her.
Oh,
yeah, you never want to bite the hand that feeds
Don't
you.
fucking talk shit about your boss on social media, you idiot.
Don't be Megan Fox. Do not be Megan Fox.
Yeah,
because that's what got her kicked off of Transformers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Shia LaBeouf, same thing with Indiana Jones.
Shia
LaBeouf. He was shit talking that movie, which I mean.
Also, that guy's a fucking mess.
Yeah. Ooh.
I think he's a preacher now.
Who?
Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaDouche.
Oh, I don't know what he is, but he got a. Okay, this is a total side thing.
And now in this segment, we're going to talk about
Shia LaBeouf. Take us on the side quest. Take us on the side quest.
Yeah, what's that song? Shia LaBeouf was hunting me or something like that. I love that song.
I love that song.
It's a great song.
Yeah.
He did a role for a movie, which was like a low key independent film or something like that. Didn't make much money, but his character was some kind of a mobster, and he legitimately got tattoos. Like if they weren't fake, he like tattooed all his whole chest.
That's right.
And I was like, bro. Come on, man.
Yeah.
It was one movie.
He did that for Fury too, where he like broke his tooth for real, and it's like, why? And he didn't get it treated, and I was like, dude.
Yeah, well, I heard. I mean, this is rumor, but on Fury, which is legitimately a really good movie, they were meant to be like out in the war zone and this and that. They don't have access to like clean water and stuff like that. So he legitimately like didn't shower the entire production because he was like, I'm living the real life right here. You know, I'm just like, bro, just
can you just act?
Can you
dirty?
chill? Can you chill?
The problem, that's the problem with method acting, is that it's basically giving people an excuse to be assholes on set.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear about like his role in that Harry Styles science fiction film that we watched?
Don't worry, darling.
Don't worry, darling.
Oh yeah.
And like basically Olivia Wilde had originally cast him in the Harry Styles role, and they had like a huge falling out on set, and there was all this like drama, and she recast him with Harry Styles. Like it was just like this huge mess.
That set was rife with drama.
Yeah, because and I think what happened is that she was also there was I think he was getting Me Too'd at the time by like a couple different women. And so she was saying, Olivia Wilde was saying that, oh, I fired him to protect the set, which is actually not true.
Actually, Olivia Wilde was getting Me Too'd.
Oh yeah, that too.
Right.
But she was also, because then there's a video that surfaced of her begging him to come back into the film. And so he was just kind of, and he said on social media, like, no, that's not what happened. Why are you lying? And then, yeah, with her, she was having an affair with Harry Styles on set. So that's another story.
Well, it wasn't just Harry Styles. Like she was accused of like grooming some like teenage boy or something like that.
What? Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, it was really weird stuff. But it all goes back to like the Harry Potter fan fiction stuff.
Hold on. Let's see how he pulls this off.
Yeah.
Okay, segue. Pull the segue. I want to see it. Let's do it.
Well, it all comes down to like, shipping weird stuff.
Oh yeah,
which the fan base really likes. And so the real question is like, is Dramini eventually going to pull the Cassandra Clare route and spin off into its own thing, or is it going to somehow be integrated into, I don't know, future actual,
what's the likelihood of them
stuff?
like
I don't
folding
think
fan fiction
either
in?
of those scenarios is likely to happen.
It seems way too dark.
It's just going to live in its own little world, do its own little thing. Yeah,
it's an alternate universe. It's called that.
It's an alternate timeline.
I would be hypocritical if I said I didn't like some fan fiction. There's some legitimate Star Wars fan fiction that I'm more of a fan of than what's been produced, and that's usually what happens is when the content that from the official source is not great, the fan base will turn to other fans who create their own stories that are better.
Yes.
And do you think that's what's happening right now? Because the Fantastic Beasts movies were just not great, so people just started like, let's see what the fans are making.
No, I think that the fans of this universe just want more to
consume.
Yeah, and happily, if there's something that's well written out there, having it is wonderful.
What was it the same author who did all the fan fiction in that compilation that you're reading?
No, after each chapter, it gives like the credits to who wrote this and who wrote that.
That's
all right, so it's multiple authors. Interesting.
All right. Final thoughts on this, Jude? Do you want to wrap this segment up with a recommendation or anything like that?
I do recommend it. I think if you are a fan of this universe and you are looking for more to that, rather than just rereading the books or re-listening to the audiobooks, I re-listen to the audiobooks a couple times a year. I love this universe and I love being in this universe. And so like I'm thoroughly invested in this. We were watching TV on the couch last night and we were watching something I didn't really care about. And I gave Kadish a kiss on the cheek. I said, I'm going to go read
A friend of my wife got her into this book. I can't remember what it's called. Four Feathers or Flame Feathers or something like that. Do you know what it's called?
I do.
Anyway.
The Fourth Wing.
Oh, The Fourth Wing. Yes. So my wife, she was recommended this book by a friend of hers and she got into
We talked about it in the car the other day.
Yeah. She got into it. I swear to God, that woman has not taken off her Bluetooth headphones in like a month. She's just constantly listening to this book series.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right, guys, let's get to the super chats here real quick. Yeah, what you got?
You do the super chats. I got to run to it.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, do the wide shot. I'll be here just by myself. Hey everybody. All right, let's check this out.
Not me.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I'm sorry, dude. I'm so used to having.
I feel besmirched.
You got to come down to the studio, brother. You got to come down here.
Clearly.
All right, let me catch up here. We got another one. Okay, $5 from William Forbes. Another $5. Draco and Hermione is ew gross. Let's get some Draco and Harry gay wizard action.
Yes.
Gay and
Make it happen. Make it happen.
With the way culture and Hollywood is right now, I'm honestly shocked that hasn't already happened, to tell you the God's honest truth.
That rivalry is just foreplay.
Yeah.
Bullying is just foreplay. He likes them.
Really hate each other, but they're into it.
It's like hate sex. Hate sex
so
with magic. I know. You know what? I'm curious to read this now because I honestly I'm with Jude in that regards, where I really, really loved the Harry Potter universe. I loved the world building, the lore that they created. And yeah, I think that with what they're doing with the reboot, I think if they can more adhere closely to the books, they'll have more time to flesh things out. I think there's so many different avenues they can go because of the world they've created. Because you have, they could do different schools. They got the French school. I forgot the name of the school. Evermore. It's an interesting name, but I remember Iverney, which is actually in the location is Mount Greylock in like Western Massachusetts in the Berkshires. So like you can have so much fun with what you do, whether or not you just do a regular school, or you could just go in the back and kind of show where these like the origins of a lot of this world. Yes.
Charles, you're a writer. I'm going to give you an idea and you can take it and run with it.
Hit me.
Vampires in the Appalachian Mountains.
I could do that. Hills Have Eyes. No zombies though.
Yeah,
no zombies.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You could have so much fun with that, like in terms of what they do, how they lure people in. You could even do it in the Ozarks too. You could have so much fun in the Ozarks. No, like there's so much fun with that. Like I actually it's one of the thing that's always fun with like when you're a writer, particularly when it comes to supernatural lore, if we're jumping back vampires just real quick in the interim, it's fun when you can put your own spin on that lore because it's such a rich and fertile ground to do that as a writer. Like with vampires, like with werewolves, like what if you did something where, say, the conquistadors, they fucked with the wrong Native American tribe, and then they get cursed.
Dude,
they get cursed. I actually did that. I've actually done that in one of my books, and because it's so fun. And I'm gonna
the conquistadors and throw a little vampirism in there.
Oh yeah. But here's what it is like with the conquistadors, what if a lot of them were cursed to turn into animals? And so then when the cold ones are coming over, and mind you,
just giving this away for free, Charles.
Yeah, man.
I'm actually not. I actually wrote this down. This is actually already published. This is published.
Oh.
That's why I'm saying it. It's it's part of the Pantheon saga. It's kind of the more supernatural novellas. So basically, when the cold ones,
let me get to the other super chats.
Yeah. Hold on.
DM me that.
Yeah. Sure.
Shout out to JT. What's up, man? Thank you so much, guys. Check out Late Night with Cap's YouTube channel. He's diving into more of the mystery and mythology, Bigfoot, UFO stuff, and it's selling like hotcakes on his YouTube channel. Check it out; it's really good stuff. Alex, if you get bit by a dinosaur, do you become one? I think that was.
I don't think it works that way.
There was another chat in there as well. I think it's coming up soon here in a second. So let me get to it. Number two, a $2 super chat from Willie Forbes. Sorry, y'all didn't realize it was Force Gross. Yeah. Hey, I appreciate the sentiment. You didn't have to super chat to say that. You're good, man. We knew what you meant. It's all good. He was talking about your fan fiction, like, oh, these two are having sex, whoa. But he didn't realize you said afterwards that it was all like,
I didn't realize either when I started it.
It got dark.
I had to get help.
No need to apologize, William. Another one from Late Night. Okay, so can we get some fan fiction of Jurassic Park about Alex visiting the island and playing with dinosaurs? Listen, dude.
Somebody write it.
I am thirsty for some good dinosaur.
If you write it, he will read it.
I will read it. I'm serious. Like there's not that much content out there for like dinosaur, like adult dinosaur content. It's all aimed towards kids, which is fine, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's dino porn or dino
or it's like just not great. It's just boring nonsense. But if you give me like an action thriller dinosaur book, there was one that I had read not too long ago. It was on YouTube or something like that. It was like an audio, like a YouTube free audiobook, but it was all about how these during the Vietnam War in the 70s, they went down to the Vietnam area and they found this like hidden valley, and they thought they were fighting Viet Cong, but it was actually the freaking dinosaurs were in this little nugget of like this rainforest that nobody knew about, and they were like being chased by dinosaurs. I'm like, this is freaking awesome. Based in the 70s, got the veterans and all that stuff, and these guys. It was cool. It was super cool. I love more of that. Give me more. And then the immediate response by Dennis Wright, a member of the content. Alex should get eaten by a T-Rex. That would be quite an honor. Legitimately, they gave that away in the last Jurassic World movie. They did some kind of a contest. You enter your name and you do whatever, and you get to be in the movie. And the role was you get to be eaten by a dinosaur. And it was a dude in the scooter, if you remember.
Like
during
that's your number one on your top 10 list of ways I want to go.
Listen, if Chris Pratt calls me and says, "Hey, you can be in my movie, but you have to be eaten," so let's go.
Yeah, but it's a gay dinosaur.
Of course. That roar is the call of the wild.
Oh man. Did you play any of the Turek games?
Dino Hunter, that's right.
I played. You know which ones I played? I played the ones at the actual arcade, like the ones where you sit in a little booth with the gun and you fire off. Those are the Dinosaur Hunter games that I played. I never played the ones from like PlayStation where you get to take it home or anything like that. But I'm down. There is a new Jurassic Park survival horror game coming out. I think it's called Jurassic Park Survivor, and I'm in. It's exactly what I've been asking for. I've always said I want Alien Isolation, but in the JP franchise. Like, give me that. And it's in development. It's supposed to be coming out soon. I'm also an early supporter of a game called Death Grounds or something like that. It's basically a dinosaur horror survival game. I did do this Kickstarter for that, and I gave them.
But jumping real quick before we jump into it. Another thing that I added, because I always thought this was really cool, the werewolves that got made werewolves in my universe. That's just the North American werewolves. It doesn't cover the European or even the African or even the Asian werewolves as well, so they have their own origin stories going on there. Particularly with the vampires. Like, there's a whole cool thing, like in terms of how I had that, but I don't want to take over it. But it kind of goes into kind of like with the Harry Potter, where, like Jude said, it's such a rich world and such fertile ground that there's so much you can do. There's so much lore that you can play with, and so many different factions that you can explore. So it's always fun to kind of see, kind of like what you're saying. If there's a dearth of any type of material coming from the official source, or the official source, it's just utter dog shit, the drizzling shit. Like, that's when people turn to fan fiction, and especially kind of like the way it came with like indie authors. Like, initially it was not called indie authors, it was called self-published, and there was also kind of a disdain, kind of like a hold your nose from the traditional source. Now you're seeing a lot of these fan fictions. Now it's actually, I think, with the success of, say, the Immortal Instruments, which I'm gonna have to look into that because I didn't even know that was Harry Potter fan fiction, and also the 50 Shades. Now people are seeing. So you're saying there's a chance, and now you're getting better writers who are coming into that space, or people are putting more effort and being like, okay, let me see if this could actually go somewhere. And that's just a treat for the fans. The fans win either way.
Nadia has joined the chat a little bit late.
A little bit late.
Yeah, Nadia, where you been at? Where you at? What the hell?
The $2 super chat from Art to the Icky. What's up, bro? It's good to see you. Eating's not cheating, Alex.
But I agree with Dennis. about your.
I gotta say, I'm getting a weird contact high off that rock.
It's not going to get you high or drunk.
No, I don't know. Like
you could snort it and you'll be fine.
It smells like turpentine. It's wafting right towards me.
It doesn't
clean
even
your
taste
windows
good.
with it.
It's not good. It tastes like rubbing alcohol.
Do you want just the ambush can?
Really? It's that bad?
And switch it over. Yeah, it's not good,
Pour
bro.
it back in. Nobody's going to drink that. Pull a Vader. Spitting his ice
cup?
cube out.
Yeah. I might shoot it in a minute and switch it out for the Ambush Canyon. This is
Pour it in here. This is empty.
Is it?
Yeah.
Good to know to avoid.
Yeah, it's not great, man. It's not great.
Yeah.
What's our next topic for today?
Is it a game?
Are you going to hit a B?
Oh, all right.
All right. So we are going to basically move things around a bit, and we're going to play the game.
Yay!
Okay.
All right.
So our game.
Get your drinks ready.
Yes, our new game is called Fake News.
Okay.
And the idea here is that Hollywood has gotten so ridiculous that it's hard to tell if it's a ridiculous news story that's accurate and true, or if it's made up.
Okay.
And so the idea here is that I'm going to read you guys some synopses of a entertainment-related news story. and you guys have to determine whether it's fake news or real news.
Okay.
You know what's funny about this? Sometimes I legitimately can't tell if it's Babylon Bee or if it's real.
Yeah. Well, Babylon Bee, ironically enough, ends up being very accurate.
Yeah. Give it like 3 weeks.
Eventually, yeah.
Give it like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Babylon Bee is on point.
Yeah, but if anybody wants to play along in the chat out there, you should be able to. So feel free to chime in. But here's the thing. The entire panel has to agree on the decision of whether it's fake or
okay.
real.
So we
Okay.
have to be a team.
Yes.
Okay. Let's do this.
All right.
All right. You guys ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So the first headline that we're going to talk about. Dolph Lundgren says he might return for a new He-Man movie so long as he can wear more clothes than he did in the original Masters of the Universe film.
Real.
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 You say that's real?
Yeah.
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 You are correct.
Yay.
That is a true story.
Yeah, of course it is.
Yes. All right. Did anyone in the chat get that? All right?
No, we didn't even give him time.
Oh, sorry.
So,
Kaladin 910
Yeah, a couple of them
says
said real.
real.
All right,
William Forbes now says real.
let's give him.
I'm pretty sure we gave you that answer.
I'm sorry, guys. We get really excited here in the studio, and we forget
Yeah.
that we have to wait a minute. We'll give you more time on this next one. Go ahead, Kadish.
All right. So here's the next story. Is it real or fake? A reboot/sequel of Air Force One is being considered, with Jada Pinkett Smith starring as the president.
That's
No?
false. That's false.
Why is that false?
Because she doesn't really act anymore. Does
Well,
she?
one, and not only that, it's like even when she was acting, she could never open a movie by herself.
Yeah. Yeah. She's
So-
not a leading lady.
She's not a leading lady. She never has.
I
been.
think
in her own mind, she is.
Fake.
That part.
What does the chat say?
Fake. Everybody's saying fake. Anthony Mark says real. Nadia says barf real. William Forbes says please be fake.
All right.
my
So
God.
the answer to that one is fake news.
Yay!
Dodge the bullet on that
That's
one,
fake.
folks.
All right. Here's the next one.
Mhm.
You guys ready?
Oh, it's so much smoother. Oh
Right?
my God.
Right? Tell the people.
Caskers.com. Get yourself some Ambush Canyon vodka. Not
Okay.
It's so good.
hashtag.
Okay.
All right, guys. So Marvel's Fantastic Four is set to be a Sue Storm-centric story with Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic, a black female Johnny Storm named Jenny Storm,
Yeah.
and a gay The Thing.
Real.
I say
That
real.
checks all the boxes. That's
Yeah.
100% real.
You know what? That sounds half real because I know that they were
Hmm.
circling Pedro Pascal. I don't know about the Black Ginny situation.
Oh, no.
I'm
and I know
pretty
that
sure I
Galactus-
listened to a podcast the other day and they were talking about that this is
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
I know
Didn't-
Silver Surfers. They wanted to make Silver Surfer a woman, and
a
then
chick. Yeah, they want to make her
Yeah.
a chick.
Yeah.
I told her,
And then-
you got to make her, you know
and
what I
then-
mean?
yeah, you do.
You can't
No.
surf with those things.
Not so
Doesn't
much.
matter.
And then I think Javier Bardem. They wanted to make him Galactus, which I'm like, no.
Give me some junk in the trunk. All right. If you get
To
a
balance it out on that
yeah,
surfboard.
you're gonna give me a female surfer, Silver Surfer. Yeah, I want some thick. You know what I mean?
36, 24, 36. Maybe she's 5'3".
My anaconda don't want none. Yeah.
I got back.
What's the chat say?
The chat is saying barf for real, sadly true,
Mhm.
real. Yeah.
Talk
The
to
virtue
us.
signal is 100%. William Forbes says.
Well, you guys are wrong. That was fake news.
Get out. Wait,
Oh,
which
now we
part of
have
it
to
was
drink.
fake?
So it is unconfirmed that it's going to be a Sue Storm-centered story
Hold on,
as of
hold on.
yet.
What does unconfirmed mean? That doesn't necessarily mean
It
it's
means
fake.
they haven't officially announced it.
It doesn't mean
But
it's
the
If
fake,
it turns out to be true, we have to drink again.
yeah,
Sure.
the fake part is there is no talk of a black female Johnny Storm named
No.
Jenny Storm, and The Thing, as of this moment, is not gay.
fake. Oh, Charles was right. We should have went with him. Well, hey, you know what? Fooled me.
But the Pedro Pascal stuff has been floating around. I don't know if it's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
That's a rumor.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? On a positive, before you get into the next one, a positive, maybe Marvel's starting to listen because it seems like they're completely reworking the Daredevil series. It's going to be shorter. They're bringing back the original cast from the other TV show. So
Mhm.
there's hope. There's hope.
Nadia. Nadia getting snarky in the chat says unconfirmed means not confirmed. Thanks, Nadia.
Thanks, Nadia.
Nadia gets it.
Thanks for educating us.
Yeah. Nerd. All right. we'll see.
Leighton has to take you to school.
Yeah.
All right. So here's the next one. Doctor Who companion Millie Gibson dropped from the next series of BBC show for not being gay enough.
Oh,
What does that mean?
I'm gonna say not true. I
So
hope
she's definitely not. She's not coming back. But I don't know if it was for being not gay enough.
Yeah,
it
that
doesn't
sounds
sound
fake.
very BBC.
Yeah, not gay enough. I mean, that sounds like somebody was taking a guess. as
Why
to
aren't you gay?
Why?
You're not gay enough.
Look at me.
Look at
Be
me.
gay.
Be gayer.
Lord in heaven.
I say not true.
Not true.
Hey.
What does
What's
the
the chat
chat say?
She was too white. Not a fan, so maybe fake. Somebody, Wendy says true. Major
It's
Chai
the
Chai
chat
says fake.
is split.
It's
the chat
split.
is
It's
split.
50-50. Yeah, we're saying real. We're saying okay. Let's see
right.
what happens.
All right, what's your official answer?
Fake.
We say fake. Yeah.
Okay, so it is fake news.
Yeah.
Ah,
It is true that Millie Gibson has been dropped from the next season of Doctor Who, but it's not for being gay enough.
okay.
A lot of people are saying it's because she's white.
Yeah, that's what the chat said.
All right, you ready for the next one?
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
hit it.
All right. "Quote unquote known transphobe J.K. Rowling is now
Aw.
reported to be an exec producer on the Harry Potter series,
Yeah.
where she will be involved in the show's decision
Yeah,
making."
true.
good.
100%.
Yes, yes, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but yeah,
100%.
that's true.
That's a provocative lead-in.
You know what though? It's a good thing to have the original creator of
I'd
this
hope so.
project.
Well, she's always been very hands-on with all of her projects.
Great.
Yeah.
Keep up. Keep it
I
up.
mean, she was able to get a really smart deal, particularly with the ebooks, where I
Yeah.
think she still owned the rights, and
Yeah.
she was able to get. That's how Pottermore became to be.
She,
and all that
yeah,
stuff.
she even has pull with casting. Like
Yeah.
she's like, no one on this project can not be British. Like it has to be a
Oh,
full British cast.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. The chat's almost 100% saying real true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so that was an actual headline. It is true.
Yep.
Yeah.
Where they basically said known transphobe in the headline.
That's when you know
Yeah.
which outlet said that. Is it
Mhm.
freaking
It was
Vice
a
or something?
discussing film, I believe.
Oh, of course.
Disgusting film.
Oh, that'd be a fun parody account.
Yes, I like it. I like it.
All right.
All right, you guys ready for the
Good
next
job,
one?
chat. You guys are what?
Yeah.
All right. No evidence Scorsese's upcoming movie will have gender swap Jesus, but movie remains entirely possible.
That doesn't sound like a Scorsese
I
project.
say
Cinema.
no.
Yeah.
I say fake.
Fake. It's too
I say
fake.
Don't fuck with the Jesus.
I'm curious why he's revisiting this because I think didn't he do the Last Temptation of Christ with like
Yeah,
Willem
yeah. He
Dafoe?
did the
Yeah.
movie with William Dafoe.
So I'm just like,
Right.
why are we going back?
So why would
Okay,
he? Yeah. Fake.
I say
Fake.
fake. I say fake.
Let's see. Let's see.
I
What
mean,
the chat says.
he is doing another Jesus movie, but I'm just curious.
Dennis Wright says real. Anthony Mark says fake. JW says fake. Quantum Cat just laughs. William Forbes says false. It was a joke online. Okay. Oh, he's got some inside information here.
Did everybody get my Big Lebowski joke though?
I got it.
Okay.
Yeah. Nobody.
I
fucks with it.
didn't.
Don't fuck with the Jesus.
Yeah, yeah. Louis and me. Come Wednesday, we're gonna
Okay.
fuck you up. Sorry. I don't roll on Sabbath.
When we went bowling, I was like, this family rolls on Shabbos.
Go ahead,
Anyway, fake.
Actually, it's true.
What? You fucking with the Jesus?
So there's no evidence that Scorsese's upcoming movie will have a gender swap Jesus played by.
Oh, there is no evidence. Is that? Did you say that the first time?
Yes,
God dang it!
but
Fooled me.
but
trying
the movie remains entirely possible.
That was tricky.
Yeah, I don't
That
like
was
that one.
tricky.
Drink anyway.
You know what we meant. We meant that's not happening. And it's not. Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Gosh, I'm into sneaky writings. All right,
Okay.
what's up next?
All right.
All right. Actress Noomi Rapace will star as Hamlet in a gender-swapped Hamlet movie.
No,
That
100%.
sounds right.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
true. That's true.
They're gonna take Shakespeare and they're gonna genderify it and they're gonna be put a chick in it, make her gay and lame. True.
Cut one of her legs off.
Let's see what the chat says before we get the official answer here. We got true, real, true. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Dennis Wright says real.
I say real.
Yeah. Anthony Mark, JW, true. Yep. Okay. Real.
That is correct. It is a real movie news.
I love that we're
headline.
just drinking twice
Doesn't
now.
matter. We can always count on
Mhm.
woke Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds awful, Dennis says. Yes.
Yes.
Indeed
All right,
it does.
guys. World champion powerlifter and transgender woman Jane Marie Kroc cast as Red Sonja in upcoming movie remake.
No.
I hope so.
No. There's no
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
You think yes? You think it's real?
Yeah.
Charles, what about you, buddy?
Nope.
No. Okay, we're
Nope.
split.
What's the chat?
What's the chat say? Chat
Drink
says,
anyway.
Dennis says real. Drink anyway.
Mhm.
Anthony Mark says false.
Quantum Cash is dying laughing over
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Anthony
You're not
Mark-
helping.
Anthony Mark says false. Dennis says bring it. Farnsworth says real. Nadia says Jesus, take the wheel.
William Forbes, I say
Oh my
no.
God.
But maybe?
I don't know, man. It sounds crazy enough to be true, but I don't want to believe it. I'm gonna stick to no. Can we stick to no, Jude?
All right. But let me go on the record as having said yes.
Yeah. All right. What's the answer?
Fake news.
All right.
Oh,
Good for you. I drink to you. I drink to you.
I was nervous.
I drink to you.
I was nervous there for a second, Jude.
You're running a little low there,
Oh
sport.
man, the member stream is going to be lit. All right.
All right, you guys ready for next one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. James Gunn confirms Jimmy Olsen, Amanda Waller, and Martian Manhunter will all be gay in the new DCU.
No. False.
If it was just Jimmy, I would have said yes.
Yeah.
But all
False.
three.
That's a bit much.
Yeah.
Amanda Waller's always been pretty asexual of a character anyway.
She's just
so,
a savage.
Too much.
Yeah.
yes.
You do too much.
Just-
Do less.
Why are you too gay?
Hollywood. Do
I
less.
say
fake.
Fake.
Fake. Let's see what the chat says. William Forbes is laughing. JT says true. Anthony Mark says true. Wendy says false. William says too many gay.
Too many gay.
Too much gay. Why are you gay? There's no.
Where's that from?
It's from an African interview with an LGBT representative, and the guy from Africa was just straight to the point. Why are you gay? And she was like, "Well, how do you know I'm gay?" And he's like, "You are gay," and it's glorious. I love it. It's so funny. What did we say? I forgot what we agreed on.
We said false.
False. Fake.
Too much gay.
Too much gay. You guys are correct. It was fake news.
Cheers.
I know too much gay when I see it.
Your too much gaydar is very fine tuned.
Mhm.
You guys remember that scene where Jim gave Dwight a radar detector, and it said it was a gaydar
Gaydar
detector?
detector, yeah.
And then every time he would go by the metal zipper next to his crotch, it would go off, and he was like, best skit in that show. All right. What's next?
All right. The next headline is Sony is currently developing a movie based around Charlotte Weber, aka Sun Spider, a lesbian wheelchair-bound version of Spider-Man who fights with web-slinging crutches.
That
That's
sounds like
not
something
true.
Kadish made up.
Yeah, you made it up, Kadish. It's just his brain is broken.
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
Because
That's
I
not true.
refuse to see it.
Because they're doing Madam Web. So that's different.
Yeah, false.
I say
False.
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 What's the chat say? Fake, 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 fake,
Fake.
So I want you to know that that character is actually a character in the comics, but they're not developing a movie around her yet.
Yeah, give it time.
Mhm.
Yeah, so fake news.
We're safe for
Sony will. They'll get there.
All right, you guys ready for the very last?
the last one.
Oh, okay.
Fake or not? Let's see what it is.
Okay.
All right. Marvel's upcoming Young Avengers movie is set to be an all-female roster starring Ant-Man's Cassie Lang /Stature,
Yeah.
Kate Bishop's /Hawkeye,
Yeah.
America Chavez, Ms.
Yeah.
Marvel,
Yeah.
Riri Williams,
Yeah.
and Thor's daughter, Love.
1,000%.
I say yes.
Yes. Chat.
What does Charles say?
Charles, what do you say?
If this was last year, I would say probably true. I'm gonna have to go with false.
Well, in development doesn't necessarily mean that it's actually going to happen.
yeah, because I mean
With-
they haven't announced a Young Avengers movie yet. They kind of set it up. They started setting it up in the Marvels,
Yeah.
which was awful. But you don't forget, they're still in Agatha Harkness, that show. They're going to introduce teenage versions of the twins, of the Maximoff twins, or the
Oh, yeah,
Wands twins. So they're part of the Young Avengers. They introduced Eli Bradley in Falcon and Winter Soldier, so there's them, and I think there's somebody else I'm missing.
You're doing too much, Charles.
Yeah.
I
Do
know,
less.
I know.
Do less
I know.
thinking. This is Hollywood we're talking about. Don't
Charles,
think that hard.
you're being too smart. You left Charles.
Because honestly, they're gonna kill themselves if they do that. If they make it an all-female like A-Force situation,
It's all part of the plan, buddy.
Suicide mission.
All part of the plan.
Suicide Squad. So false.
The chat seems split. I'm seeing trues. I'm seeing
I'm
false.
seeing a lot of trues.
Yeah. True.
only see
Hashtag
two
girl
false.
power. Dennis Wright. Yeah, buddy. Throw a token low T mail in there. Yeah, 1,000%. 1000% there's going to be a beta male in there somewhere. I'm going to say true.
Yeah, I say true.
True? Charles, true?
False.
50-50? False? Okay.
Charles, you have to go along to get along.
For the greater good.
I'm
For
not
the
going
greater
to
good.
be peer pressured.
You're on record for what you actually think, but you have to go along, or Kadish will not release the information.
The Snyder Cut.
All right. True. Kadish?
All right, is that your final answer?
That's our
True?
that's our final answer.
Yeah, we speak for Charles.
Fake news.
Yeah.
Ah,
Right all along.
Oh no.
No,
I'm good at this.
should have trusted him.
Yeah, trust in Charles.
That's why he's on my
All
trivia
right.
team.
I have my
Right.
own river. I have my own city in
Yeah.
Missouri. I have my own river in Boston. Trust
Yeah.
me.
We've got 20 minutes before we polish up this live stream, and we do want to let you guys know if you're a member of the channel, you do get access to the members only live stream directly after this. And this vodka is doing way more than that tequila is, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
That's what I said. One drink
you
of this,
called
I'll
it.
be a
You
little
called it, yeah.
loosey-goosey.
Now, we're trying to figure out how to redirect you guys to the member stream after this stream ends. We think we got it tuned in.
Yeah.
So once this stream ends, all you members will instantly be redirected to the other member stream.
But we
Yeah.
should pop a link somewhere.
If it doesn't work, it's not our fault.
Yes, exactly. It's YouTube's fault. They make it too hard to do.
Yeah.
Anyway, our last subject for today's live stream. What do we got for us, Kadish? We talking Sean Strickland?
Yes.
Okay.
UFC knocks out the
Should I
press.
put a link in Discord?
Yeah, that would be a great idea. If you're not
Okay.
already a member of Discord, go to saltynerdiscord.com and sign up there.
All right. I'll put the link in for the members stream in Discord.
All right, let's start this segment. Sean Strickland takes it to the press. It's a shame, there's a conspiracy theory going on. I don't know. I'm not a huge UFC fan. There is a conspiracy theory going on that they judged against him in the championship fight because of his comments on this press docket thing. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, he kind of went off on somebody.
Yeah, well, he went. Well, okay. Here's my opinion on this, and this might get me demonetized or whatever on this platform. But I'm 100% with Strickland on pretty much everything he says in this interview. But my point that I made to Kadish earlier was this freaking interviewer or this press Canadian guy fed these questions knowing the outcome. Like we all know who Sean Strickland is. He makes himself very prominent on social media. He has his opinions out there and he never pulls punches, figuratively and literally. And this guy went in there asking these stupid ass questions, knowing exactly what Sean Strickland was going to say so that he could get this freaking whole thing trending and yada, yada, yada. That being said, I agree with Sean. Can we play this? Because he swears a lot.
I mean, yeah.
Are we good to play this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Question: where should I put it in Discord? In club members?
No. Oh, for the members? Yeah,
the
club
members.
members. Yeah,
Okay.
club members area.
All right. Please continue.
Yeah, Kevin Sorbo. Oh, Kevin Sorbo tweeted it. Yeah, preach it, man. Yeah, I'm a way bigger fan of Kevin Sorbo lately than I ever
You
have
said
been.
Kevin.
Kevin, this vodka hits you hard,
Ambush
man.
Canyon. Not a
For me,
sponsor.
it's the other. For me, it's the other direction when it comes to Kevin Sorbo.
You dislike him more and more?
I liked him more when he was Hercules.
Oh, okay. Well, he's doing a bunch of like Christian, angels
Yes.
and what is it? Angels in the outfield stuff or whatever. I don't know.
Well, he can't get a job anywhere else. So
Well, yeah, because Hollywood is super anti-Christian and he's the opposite. So they're like, we can't. hire you.
there's other reasons. But
Yeah, I'll stick it to you good, baby.
Really?
I don't know his son's TikTok where
He's
he keeps
hilarious.
talking to his dad about stuff is pretty funny.
It's really funny. They're a good team. All right, let's see what Sean Strickland has to say. It's 2 minutes. We'll blaze through it real quick.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're gonna stop it.
Oh,
and
we
react
are?
to some stuff as we go.
We've got a pretty supportive gay and lesbian community in this
Stop.
city.
Why?
He knows what he's doing.
That's true.
The reporter.
Oh,
Right?
You're right.
He's setting this up because he
Okay.
knows who he's talking to.
All right.
He's like, oh, Sean Strickland. Oh, that's the guy who's going to say a bunch of stuff that I can monetize and get clicks.
Okay.
Yeah, so the reporter says we have a very large LGBTQ community here in Canada.
Okay.
Yeah, I
I
wouldn't
did
be
want to
proud of
ask you
that.
about something you wrote a couple of years ago. You said if I had a gay son, I would think I'd.
Oh, look, another. I'm saying to you, the swamp, you guys, the swamp.
This is a setup. This is a setup.
Let me ask you something. Are you gay? No,
What? Are you gay?
Are you? Let me know. Are you gay?
Can I get an answer?
Well, no, I'm asking. This is the part. Are you a gay man?
I'm an ally of the community.
Okay. If you had a son, then he was like, you had a son, he was gay. You'd be like, oh man, you don't want a
No
grandkid?
problem with it.
Oh, you're a weak fucking man, dude. You're part of the fucking
Dating
problem.
him.
You elected Justin Trudeau. Like, With you
That is the
fucking
gayest thing
when he
ever.
sees the bank
Trudeau.
accounts, like you're just fucking pathetic. And the fact that you have no fucking backbone and has he shut down your fucking country and seized bank accounts?
Can I pause real quick? So I want to just address this. He's not. I know he's saying some pretty harsh things, which some people are like, "Oh my god, he could have been a little bit." It's a freaking UFC fighter. What do you expect?
I mean, he's not wrong about the stuff he's going into about.
No, but I think what he's mentioned, he's not even talking about the whole gay thing, except for that one.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
He's talking about the culture of that community, of that the culture that allows Trudeau to do the things that he does. Which, I mean, we all saw the whole trucking incident thing. I mean, this has nothing to do with movies, but like he's addressing that whole the hive mind. That's what he's talking about in this.
I mean, I don't agree. I mean, I've never heard of him until this situation came up. While I don't, necessarily agree with his views on LGBTQ, but I think that this reporter clearly had an agenda. What they were trying to do. They're trying to set him up to.
Yeah. Show me a reporter that doesn't have an agenda.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
Yeah, and just like, on both, on any side, And I just feel that this guy knew how he was going to react. Knew it was going to be what he didn't know what he was going to say, but he knew he was going to react. Yeah. And so I don't know. It was.
Well, I mean, Strickland came out like as soon as Bud Light sponsored the UFC. Strickland was like, "Oh, I'm going to make them. They're either going to endorse me or they're going to pay for this." And that's what he's doing. He's following through with his word. He knows exactly what's happening. The minute he asked that question, Strickland knew it was a setup, and he's still like, "Okay, I'll give you the soundbite you want. Here you go, buddy."
It wasn't even a question. It wasn't even a question. It was just like he sent with kind of a statement, and then Strickland just kind of.
Do you have a question about his shirt?
Does his shirt say "a woman in very kitchen, a guy in every something else"?
Well, it's folded because the quality of the video is not great.
A woman in every kitchen. A woman in every kitchen.
A woman in every kitchen and a gun in every hand.
A gun in every hand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or it should say a guy in every.
It looks like a woman in very kitchen, and I was like, "Bro, check your spelling."
Yeah.
You should fire the person who gave you that shirt.
There's a fold in his shirt right there.
Like a woman in very kitchen.
A woman in very kitchen. Yeah. No, man, this whole scenario with this video, we're gonna finish it in a second. We got another minute to go or so, but like this whole situation is just a bait and switch. The journalist knew what he was doing. Strickland knew what he was getting into, and it's just I feel like this is all just distraction. This is all just to distract people. Like, oh, look at this freaking viral video of this UFC fighter saying something un-PC. Like, shut up. Oh my god. Keep going. Go ahead. Finish.
Some stupid shit like that. Go fuck yourself. Move the fuck on, man.
That didn't really answer the question, but I did want to ask also things you said about the trans community. You said,
see, now he's bringing up that it's all a setup, dude.
Like, what does that have to do with this fight? That's my question. Is like, what does that have to do with the UFC?
Why do we want to hear UFC fighters speak?
You can ask the producer that. I asked that same question last week and I got told shut up. So
I mean, like, I really want to. No, I'd really want to hear about like kind of like if we're going to hear them talk.
This Canadian's not that Canadian.
Are you still going to use your fight time to kind of speak on that?
Here's the thing about Bud Light. Here's the thing about Bud Light.
I'm a little drunk right now.
10 years ago, to be trans was a mental fucking illness. And now all of a sudden, people like you have fucking weaseled your way into the world. You are an infection.
Wow.
You are the definition of weakness. Everything that is wrong with the world is because of fucking you. And the best thing is the world's not buying.
Shut his microphone.
The world's not buying your fucking bullshit. You're fucking peddling. The world is not saying, you know what?
Who cares?
You're right. Fucking chicks have dicks. The world's not saying that. The world's saying, no, there are two genders. I don't want my kids being taught about, who they could fuck in school. I don't want my kids being taught about, their sexual preference. Like, dude, this guy is the fucking enemy. You want to look at the fucking enemy to our world? It's that motherfucker right there.
Avery.
I don't know, dude. He baited him and he said what he's gonna say. I've followed Strickland on social media. I know what he says. I know his opinions. He doesn't pull punches.
I've never heard of this guy until that. I've never heard of him, actually.
Look, man, I took my kid. I made sure my kids didn't go to public school for some of these reasons right here. And they also don't go to the public library because that library is freaking, especially here in Vegas, not where my kids need to be.
I'm gonna put it like this without getting too deep to it. Is that to each their own. However people want to live their life is how they want to live their life.
Sure.
My issue is I draw the line when it comes to hate crimes, when it comes to harassment, when it comes to that. But if people want to separate their children from that, then that's their choice.
Yeah.
That's their life. Yeah.
Right, but when it comes to prancing around in your underwear in front of children with a rainbow flag wrapped around you, that's a different matter. I don't get, dude. We all know gay people. We all know people who fine, whatever. Be a normal.
And that's what I mean. That's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what
he's
I'm talking
about too. He's not talking about the average person who's just, he doesn't give a shit about gay people or whatever. He's talking about these people who are just like got to shove it down everybody's throat. Got to talk about it all the time. Got to bring it up during a UFC conference. It's in the parents. It's the parents' right, and when they want to introduce that. But the point is, like, why is this journalist asking him?
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all.
He's addressing. He's like, who are you? What are you doing here?
Because everything is agenda driven.
Exactly.
And that's unfortunate. I really think that's the case.
Our podcast.
well, the interesting thing about this in particular is that it led to basically the same Canadian journalists attacking Dana White for allowing his fighters to speak their mind.
Also a setup.
And basically there's this
it's only 48 seconds, Jude. It's okay. It's almost over. It's like a band-aid.
So this was Dana White's response.
If it took 48 seconds to rip off a Band-Aid.
What they can say when they are up there with the UFC microphone,
just let it
are getting into territory of homophobia, transphobia. Like, is there?
I don't give anybody a leash.
Well, I'm saying
a leash.
I'm like
free speech. Control what people say. Going to tell people what to believe. Going to tell people. I don't fucking tell any other human being what to say, what to think, and there's no leashes on any of them. What is your question?
There you go.
Move on though.
I'll move on though.
It's ridiculous to say I give somebody a leash. Free speech, brother. People can say whatever they want and they can believe whatever they want.
If about you
obviously
get.
So I'm with Dana on this one. Like, dude, that journalist is obviously there just to get a soundbite. He doesn't care about the UFC. He doesn't care about any of these topics. He's just there to get something trending. And he's hoping that it's going to
And I'll say this, I mean, Strickland did kind of go a little far in terms of just insulting that guy's entire manhood and existence. However, the reporter knew what he was doing. He was poking the bear. He was poking a couple bears. And
but there has to be some pushback because otherwise these people are just going to run all over you, and then you're going to have a J.K. Rowling situation where this group of people are just like, I think she shouldn't be involved in Harry Potter. She created Harry Potter.
She created the damn thing.
This Canadian reporter obviously knew what this guy's stances were.
Yeah.
And he was legitimately trying to set him up to get canceled.
Mm-hmm.
Like that.
Yeah.
Now the conspiracy theory, this is interesting. And this is strictly now I want to.
What do you think it would take to get like a UFC fighter canceled?
I think they're trying real hard right now.
I think if footage came out of them like cross-dressing,
that would probably
that would do it.
Could you imagine?
In this fucking community, you're trying to get a UFC fighter canceled.
Again,
that's all testosterone. It's all balls everywhere.
I'm not a huge UFC fan, but I do enjoy Joe Rogan's podcast. And every once in a while, I don't watch his Fight Companions, but I do listen to him talk about the UFC once in a while. And there are male fighters who go into the female ring and fight female. It's happening. Dana White doesn't stop it. He's not being like, no, you're not allowed to do that. He lets it happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
well, Dana White also allowed Bud Light to be like a sponsor of the UFC. But what was interesting in one of the more recent Joe Rogan podcasts is like, this is a strictly like Canadian issue where basically Joe Rogan watched like because he didn't go up to Canada because of the COVID mandates and stuff like that.
But they still have those?
Yeah.
God damn,
it's Trudeau.
It is Trudeau.
So like when the fights were getting ready to start, the entire crowd up at the UFC event in Canada started chanting "Fuck Trudeau." Fuck Trudeau. and Joe Rogan was watching that, just laughing his ass off.
Look, the pendulum swings, man. It always swings. Politically, culturally, it just happens every, I don't know, 10, 15 years or something like that.
But there is like this weird sense in the media that masculinity has to be attacked. I think that the big point that Sean Strickland was saying is that, you know, you people up here in Canada, you are weak. You are weak men, and you're allowing the government to just roll right over you. And like, you need to have backbone. And I think that there's a larger issue here where it's like men are being chastised for being masculine nowadays.
No, you see it in movies, culture.
And that's the thing. It's not even just like the actual toxic, the actual bad actors. It's like just all masculinity. And I think, you know, one of the things that's, you see like the manosphere being in Red Pill, and they're stupid shit about that, but it's just like the Red Pill and the manosphere are being chastised. But the thing is that a lot of young men are rudderless nowadays, and they don't know where they can go, and they're told that they're bad. So there is no arbiter on one side to kind of, that's positive masculinity, or even just masculinity. It's just saying bow down to this, and you have to kind of tamper it down. Whereas you're seeing the manosphere where they're seeing like, hey, you shouldn't have to apologize for being masculine. And so that's why a lot of young men, or even just men of any age, are gravitating towards those people, like, you know, all the people like the Andrew Tates, the Jordan Petersons, and all those people, because it's something. It's something that's kind of letting people, even however people feel about it, it's something that's a bastion of masculinity for some people, and where they don't have to apologize for that.
I'm a father of 3 boys. Goddamn right, I'm out there making sure that they know how to be a good man. It doesn't has nothing to do with politics, has nothing to do with any of that crap. Just be a good man. That's it. Simple.
I think there's been a lot of study that has looked into like deviant behavior and the childhood behind men who grow up with deviant behavior, like as far as like sociopathic behavior and serial killers, and what has linked them has always been someone in their childhood, a parental figure telling them you're bad for being a boy. We're raising men to become deviants.
And you know the thing is too, and I can say this with, you know, getting a little personal here, but I can say this from experience that there are many things that I had to learn as an adult, because my father was not really a presence in my life. And I grew up in a household where I was the youngest man, and there was 3 very, very, very alpha females, you know, including my mother. So there was a lot that I had to kind of white knuckle it through a lot of things in terms of learning what it's like to be a man. You know, not in that way, Matt, you dirty man.
So much vampire.
but there's a lot of tools that I did not grow up having, and I had to learn later in life, because I did not have that masculine role model or paternal role model in my life.
It's important, man. It's important.
It's so important.
I you know, we laugh because we're not laugh, but we're like, man, I miss the freaking cool ass, you know, movies of the 80s with Schwarzenegger and Stallone. And all this. These guys have to come in their 70s and make these movies now, because no modern day Hollywood studio or actor is going to fit that bill.
Or you know what? They have to. Or you know what? Or you know what? If they're young, or you know what? Or you know what? Though it's funny you say that. If they're young, they got to get them from England. They got to get them from Australia. They got to get them from UK or Ireland. Because it seems like,
I will say this: there's very few of them, but they are out there. I like what Chris Pratt's doing. Chris Pratt's journey through Hollywood and being a male popular role model, if that's
Arnold
what you want.
Schwarzenegger's son-in-law.
Yes,
I know, that's true. That's awesome. That's true. And it's funny because I can tell you, I remember his first major role was on Everwood. I remember that. Like on the WB.
Listen, Chris Pratt, whoever is Chris Pratt's manager is a goddamn genius, because
I thought you were going to say genie.
No,
also true.
Because you got him on the comedy front with Parks and Rec. Now that was a job that he was homeless, I think, when he got that gig. Living in Hawaii in a van.
No. He got Everwood, and he was homeless. Then he got Everwood. Then he got Parks and Rec.
And then Parks and Rec, and he's like, listen, I can't afford to go to film this thing. He was like, it's fine. We'll go fly you over there. And then he did Parks and Rec. Now what he's doing is he's got the action front, right? He's got Terminal List on Paramount, or not Paramount, Prime, Amazon. And then he's got the kids. He's got Jurassic Park / World with the younger crowd and me. And then he's doing Mario. He's doing Garfield is another movie that
how many times have they tried to cancel this
dude? They keep trying to throw him under the bus for being a Christian and a male role model.
He's also a superhero with Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
And it was a two-hit combo that led him to getting these action roles. Because remember, I think on Parks and Rec for a while, he kind of gained a bit of weight, and I think he was kind of feeling insecure. But then there were 2 roles that really led to that 1-2 punch of Guardians and then Jurassic World. It was Moneyball, where he played the baseball player. But the one that really got people's attention was Zero Dark 30. I didn't even know he was in that film. I was just like, holy crap.
He is unrecognizable in that movie.
Yeah.
Solid actor, solid character.
And also his weight loss journey with What's My Snack.
Yes. What's my snack?
What's my
And that's the thing. And it seems like he's a decent dude. He's not like, just because he's a Christian, apparently that's a bad thing. It's just like, no, dude. It's just like he seems like he keeps to himself. He's married, it didn't work out with his first wife. Now he's married and he's happy. And people are even getting on him just because he said, oh, we had our child, or I'm happy that I had my child like this. People are saying, oh, you're shaming your son because his son has special needs. I'm like, no, he's not saying that, you idiots. Like, he's just happy to have a healthy child. Heaven forbid any parent want that.
Look, he's a Christian white male in Hollywood. He is like the enemy number 1 right now.
Yeah, he's one of the Chris's.
I think my favorite story concerning him was like, there was a reporter who was interviewing Zoe Saldana, plays Gamora in Guardians of the Galaxy, and she was like, you're the only woman in this cast full of like big muscular like alpha male men, and it's like, were there any was there any locker room talk on set that made you uncomfortable? And Zoe Saldana sat there for a second. She said, actually, the only thing I ever talked about was what they wanted to eat.
She's a real one. She's a real one.
Yeah.
What did Tom Holland say that Marvel had him on like a 500-calorie diet right before filming Spider-Man? He's like, it was freaking crazy, man. Like I've done that. I've done the less than 1,000-calorie diet, and it's freaking.
That ain't good for your heart, man.
It's rough, man. It's rough. You gotta pick your meals right. But anyway,
you gotta stab your heart 3 times in order to get through a diet like that.
Wow. I don't know about that. That's a little extreme there.
A black magic marker. God, I just watched that movie again. I haven't seen Pulp Fiction in forever.
Oh, you know what? Actually, going back to the masculinity thing, sorry to interrupt. I saw this great comment. I think it was Kaladin 910.
Oh, okay, in the chat.
Yeah, who brought this really good thing about the conversation between Leto and Paul in Dune. I was like, ooh, yes.
Oh, Dune had some good father-son moments.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes.
Yeah. I watched that recently too. But yeah, Pulp Fiction, man. Go if you haven't seen Pulp Fiction in a while, go rewatch it. It's freaking awesome.
I have a Pulp Fiction tattoo, right?
You do?
I do.
I need to watch the full movie. I've seen parts of it. I've never seen the full movie.
Stop. Charles, are you telling me you've never actually seen Pulp Fiction from
start?
I
tried to watch it once. I was with a girl and we got distracted.
Are you gay?
It's true. It's what happened. It's a true story. We got distracted. Never forbid. We were talking. I'm sure the audience is tired of the sex talk, so whatever.
God damn. All right. On that note, we would like to thank everybody in the chat that came and hang out with us today. Really appreciate it.
We also just got raided by Samu the DJ.
All right. Another raid? Right on. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I don't know what I was going to say. This vodka, dude, I'm telling you, I drank this for half the stream. Nothing. Had a couple of sips of Ambush Canyon. Toasted.
Loosey goosey.
Yes. And our final survey results are: if you are bit by a gay vampire, you become gay. 57% of the chat says that you become gay if you're bit by a gay vampire.
That's closer than I thought it would be.
It is closer than I thought it would be. Yeah, for sure. All right, everybody. Thank you. Oh, hold on.
And the other 3% said you're probably a little gay anyway.
You're probably a little gay anyway. I like what Charles says. You get bit by a vampire, it just brings out your inner self. So you've been always gay. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Let me real quick shout out our super chatters. William Forbes is always in the house dropping some Dallas. Jeff Smith became a member today, or I've been a member for 5 months. Thank you so much. Again, I'm going to butcher this guy's name. I'm so sorry. Gurin
Falth, I believe.
Don't take Kadish's advice on how to pronounce names.
It's got the dots above the O.
I think it's Gurin Falth.
Can you put it phonetically in the chat next time? Because I'm really curious.
Yeah, tell us how to say it. We'll say it right.
It's like when I first got introduced to Øystein Martinson, and I was like, "How do you say your name? Is it Orstein?"
When we get into the member stuff, I have some accent stuff to talk to you about.
Oh, am I doing it wrong?
No.
Oh, okay.
I want to talk about me.
Okay. Oh man, William Forbes, Late Night with Cap. Go check out his mystery with Cap stuff. It's really good. Dennis Wright and R to the Icky. Thank you guys so much. Really do appreciate it. If you are a member of the channel, you will automatically be brought to the members channel. Hopefully, if not, we will drop a link in Discord.
I put the link in Discord.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Jude.
In the club members Discord chat
area. If you are not, okay, we'll get into the Discord thing later.
Yeah,
but
they can just go to saltynerdlive.com
Thank
if it
you,
doesn't
Gage.
connect.
There you go.
Thank you. All right, guys. Thanks so much for joining us. Charles, thanks for coming in clutch today. Really do appreciate it, buddy. You have a great one. Stay salty, everybody. See you next week. Hey folks, thanks so much for watching this live stream. If you want to watch our previous live stream, make sure to click right here. Or if you would like to check out one of our favorite highlights, right here.